South Carolina's Weekend of Champions rolls on with a Class A title contest featuring Lamar and Bamberg Ehrhardt. It's a battle between the Silver Foxes and the Red Raiders for state supremacy. With that, we welcome you to South Carolina State and the weekend. You always circle when it comes to December for state championship glory. Alongside my broadcast partner, Toby Cates, a former Gamecock, Jason Patterson here with you. And Toby, first things first, it's about these moments when you line it up, when you strap it on to start the season.
Absolutely. That's what you play for. You know, that's what you go practice hard for. That's all the summer workouts, the winter workouts, and things like that, the gelling as a team. You have one goal and purpose, and that's to win the state championship.
Helmets are strapped on. These pads are being prepared, and these players are just about ready to go in the latest of the state championship environments. This one should be a good one when you figure what it took to get here for these two teams. It's a season that Bamberg Ehrhardt has really created separation for the most part all along the way. For Lamar, they've been so good in the championship tournament. Let's go ahead and take a glance at the arrival of these two teams. What it took to get here. Here's our Farm Bureau Insurance path to a championship. And you take a look at the lower state bracket here, Toby. It's been quite a season for this group.
Yes, it has. You know, they've been fighting all year long, but they've been proving that they can score a bunch of points and they can stop a lot of people. And that's what it's going to take to win the state championship. And you can see beating Cross, the former lower state champion last year, and coming back and making it to the state champion this year is something that's awesome.
And you think about what it took to do that, able to battle back from behind in order to get the job done when it mattered most. When you flip over and you look at the path to the championship, how they got there in the upper state, also brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. For Lamar, handled Louisville to punch their ticket.
Yes, and that was something big. You know, Louisville had just upset Abbeville, so you know that was big in their reign. They had beat them earlier during the season, and they came back and beat them again. So it's a hats off to Lamar.
About playmakers, when you get to this point, one thing we love about this Class A title game, you're going to see Iron Man football, guys that will be going both ways to make their mark on this one. Tell me who you highlight on both sides, Toby.
Yes, Brian McMillan. I mean, he has had such a great season. 3,730 yards, 44 TDs, and 3 INTs. Zoe Pierce, same thing. 61% completion, 1,651 yards, and 16 total TDs and 4 INTs.
The quarterbacks are A&I Fire and Water Restoration players to keep an eye on and rely on in this one. Let's turn our attention to the keys to the game. It stands as our Ingles food for thought. What's it going to take if Bamberg Ehrhardt's to come away victorious?
I think Bamberg needs to just stay balanced. You know, something they've been doing all year. You know, basically 50-50 every time they play a ball game. And the key on defense, they need to force third and long. You know, keep them out so they have to force Lamar to throw the football.
And how about Lamar?
Lamar, they just need to sustain drives and move the ball, take some time off the clock. The best way to stop a great offense is to keep them off the field. And then on defense, I think they need disguise coverages and disguise their blitz. Just don't sit in one package and say, here we are. I think in the championship game, you have to do different things to have a great outcome.
What different things will they do to claim the championship? That's our Eagles food for thought. This is football in the rain in the central portion of South Carolina and for a Palmetto State Championship. It is Bamberg Ehrhardt and Lamar next. Welcome back to the Midlands of South Carolina. An unbeaten Bamberg Ehrhardt squad taking the field. The Red Raiders of Bamberg Ehrhardt taking on the Silver Foxes of Lamar. Both teams in the building and ready for a Class A clash. For that, we send you down to the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Claire Foley.
Well, guys, we saw in game one how much of a factor the conditions here today played in the game, multiple turnovers. But I asked both coaches if they think it's going to impact their style of play. Both immediately said no. For Lamar specifically, they said it was conditions similar to this during their practice on Tuesday on their turf. That was slick, just like this is, so they feel like they're ready for this one. Guys.
Toby, I got to ask you, how much does it affect you when you're in this kind of weather? Obviously not the driving rain we had earlier, but still some lingering effects.
Absolutely. You know, anytime the weather is going to affect your play, you know, the grip of the ball, how many balls do you have, how many balls did you bring, you know, timing on routes, you know, slipping or receivers be able to plant and doing different things like that.
We'll see how it affects this one today as we have our preferred appliance kickoff, and we are underway. Your trusted appliance sales and repair experts bring you the preferred appliance kickoff. Very little return here. You will find a running theme in this one today, and that's we'll be calling the same names over and over again in this Class A contest because you got playmakers on both sides that these coaching staffs want to leave on the field as often as possible, and it begins with the quarterbacks as this group for Lamar are going to be led out onto the field by Zoe Pierce, and he's quite a playmaker.
Yes, he's definitely a playmaker. You know, But we failed to mention, before the game started, that he also rushed almost 800 yards too. So he can beat you not just with the arm, he can beat you with his feet also.
Yeah, with the arm, over 1,800 yards on 90-plus completions across the course of the year. They keep it on the ground to begin things, and battling for every inch of real estate is Nigel Eady. Here's a first look at Eady, who's a tremendous weapon alongside Pierce. Here's the entire starting group for Lamar.
It's just a great group. Started with the quarterback we talked about. But Eady's just a great a running back, and DQ Green also does a lot of blocking for him. Look for some passes for Juju Morris and Camille McCoy. Those are big play receivers, averaging over almost 15 to 20 yards a catch.
That's our Adventure Children's Museum starting lineup for Lamar. And Lamar wasting no time up across the 35-yard line. Another dose of Eady. We expect to see him early and often. Here's the defensive unit trying to slow him down as we look at the Adventure Children's Museum starting lineup for Bamberg Ehrhardt.
Yes, they have a great defense. They've been stopping people all year. Savion Bamberg, he's a great player. Darian Carter. The defensive ends, they got 20 tackles for loss and things like that. So they're going to have to put pressure in the backfield and get some tackles for loss in order to stop this Lamar team.
And our starting lineup is brought to you by Adventure Children's Museum. Adventure is playing with a purpose. Center of our starting lineups. Immersive, hands-on exhibits that light the curiosity of guests of all ages. You can visit Adventure in Columbia or Myrtle Beach and see how much fun learning together can be. That's Adventure, sponsors of our starting lineups. Second down coming for Lamar. They push toward midfield under the direction of Zori Pierce. Toby gave you some of his numbers. You saw those a moment ago. Just impressive what he's able to do in leading this group. In fact, he leads them to the initial 100. Junk first down of the day as he moves the chains up near midfield. Nice march to start things for Lamar.
Hey, it's just great. When you see one-on-one and basically uncovered receiver, defender standing 5 yards, why not put the ball in your playmaker's hands and just let him do the damage?
1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. They're sponsoring our first downs in the first and third quarter today. We thank our friends at 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Nothing about that drive falling in that category thus far as they move it up near the 50-yard line. Ball just shy of midfield at the 49, and here's the first time Pierce calls his own number, and boy, does it work out. Inside Bamberg Ehrhardt territory at the 31-yard line. Quite a run for Zori Pierce. You said it, he's a dual threat, and he shows it here.
Absolutely, but it basically starts when you can run the football. You see the first 4 or 5 plays they've been running the football and getting positive yards, so as long as you got to worry about Eady running the football, then the quarterback, he's just been doing what he's been doing all year long.
Tyler Boyd, the Lamar head coach, saying, here's the guy who is crucial to the success of his team. It really is nice when you have that premier playmaker at the quarterback position that both these teams do in today's Class A affair. Zori Pierce, the senior, this time going to work with his back and inside the 30 ever so slightly is Nigel Eady. That's about all. The Bamberg Ehrhardt defense steady on that one. You're wondering about these two teams, Toby. Lamar averages 42 points per contest, gives up 16. For Bamberg Ehrhardt, they average up over 50 per contest and allowing an average of 7, but that number's ticked up just a little bit in the last few weeks.
Absolutely. Teams started to figure out more. They start watching more huddle, doing different things, and some teams just have a different scheme for you. Some teams are just built just for what you do, and like I say, that's what happens in football. You run across some teams just better with the pass, and you're a passing football team. But we see here today, they just putting their wheel, they're doing what they do best. They just run the football and establish, and then setting up the quarterback with the P runs and maybe even a play action pass.
Here's Eady with another 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down, and this is right on the doorstep of what would be our first red zone opportunity. Doctors Implants, the sponsor of our red zone across the course of this championship weekend, and Lamar trying to set up one of those Doctors Implants red zone chances right away. They sit on the 21-yard line under the direction of Zori Pierce, and the work of Eady doing most of the heavy lifting on this drive thus far. And this time Pierce is swallowed up. He'll be kept shy of that red zone. Bamberg Ehrhardt getting the penetration they had hoped for, and Jalen McGraw gets in there, the bandit, right where he needed to be.
Absolutely. This basically zone read, and he thought he had it, but it got clogged up, and then all of a sudden the hole just closed fast. And that's what you got to have. You got to have all 11 passes getting to the football. That's what the defense coaches preaches all 11 has doing their responsibility and getting to the football.
Second glance, Jaden Moody was right there as well, one of the guys you talked about when we looked at the starting lineups a moment ago. Second down from behind the sticks for Lamar. They'll swing one out far side. How about this one-handed grab by Juju Morris? And he's still fighting into the red zone at the 13. The catch was impressive for the leading receiver, Juju Morris.
Absolutely. He's just a playmaker. And just watch his one-handed catch. He goes up and get it. That's what you do. Big-time games, big-time players make it. And he has 8 touchdowns this year, so he was looking to try to get number 9.
567 yards on 27 receptions for those 8 touchdowns you talked about, Toby. Juju Morris making his presence known as the senior puts them in the doctor's implants red zone. This time Pierce. And he's still going. In fact, he's going to move the chains. That's another 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down inside the 10. So it'll be first and goal for Zori Pearson Company as they try and make the best of this Doctor's Implants red zone chance. I haven't told you yet, but Doctor's Implants impairing people through full mouth dental implants. They are empowering you. If that's an issue for you, check them out today. Doctor's Implants, sponsors of our red zone opportunity, empowering people through full mouth dental implants. The Doctor's Implants red zone chance, first one of the day for Lamar. What dividends will it pay inside the 10? Edie works through some traffic and he gets ever closer to the goal line. He's down to the 1. Toby, this is the Lamar team riding an 11-game winning streak. They lost their first couple of games of the year right out of the gate. They lost 2 of the first 3 to Darlington and to Central, able to come back and avenge some of that. They reeled off 11 straight since, and boy, is it working like clockwork now.
Hey, like Coach said, Coach Brian Scott, who coached for Lamar, he just said it. They wasn't gelling at the beginning, but now they've been gelling. All their studs come out and play every game, and that's what they're doing now. They're relying on their studs.
Led by Zori Pierce, who takes it into the end zone for our initial Palmetto Bath touchdown of the contest, and Lamar goes on the march, nearly length of the field as they eat up half the first quarter and cap it with a Palmetto Bath touchdown.
I mean, it's just, they had great blocks up front, and he has great vision. He could have bounced to the outside because you got to worry about his speed, and he just made it easy and just cut up in there. But, this young man, he doesn't mind contact either. So, he plays free safety, he delivers blows, but he don't mind taking blows either.
Lamar takes the football, marches it down the field, and secures the Palmetto Bath touchdown to set the tone for this one. With 6:45 to go in the opening period, Silver Foxes looking good on their opening touch. 6 all-time. Boy, you remember those Lamar teams of 2002, 2003, 2004, under the direction of another Mr. Boyd, J.R. Boyd, the dad of Tyler Boyd. This is J.R. Boyd's son, Tyler, now at the helm of this program, and boy, did they make use of their initial opportunity. Ate up a good chunk of the quarter doing so also, Toby.
That's what we talked about. One of the keys was sustained drives. And that's what they did. They kept moving the ball 3 and 4 yards, 5 yards a pop, and that's what you do. And then as long as you keep running the football, you have to worry about Pierce because eventually he's going to pull this ball and get around the corner. And as long as they keep playing ball like this, it's hard to beat this Lamar team.
Preferred appliance kickoff going to be handled on a short kick by Raheem Walker, who is there to corral it. Going to be decent field position for Bamberg Ehrhardt, but this Red Raider offense got to be feeling like, were we ever going to get the football? Here they come under the direction of Brian McMillan. Talk about guys whose dads made their mark on high school football. We talked about it with the coaching staff on the Lamar side. Here's a guy whose father was a standout in football and baseball. They called him Debo, so they called Brian McMillan Debo Jr., but he's quite a player on both sides. A guy who also is a tremendous athlete will lead this Bamberg Ehrhardt group out onto the field. And here's the first touch, going to be Charles Anthony Williams getting the carry, and he's got a good 7 or so on that first touch of the football.
Yes, you see him limping a little bit, but he's a big play receiver.
Here's a look at the starting lineup for Bamberg Ehrhardt. Who else do you highlight?
Who just got hurt? Mr. Williams. He's just great. He has over 1,200 yards receiving. The running back, Marcus Cam, has 914 yards, 15 TDs. And also McGraw, who has 1,000 yards and 11 TDs.
And a number of different individuals whose name we'll be calling in those Red Raiders colors. Let's go ahead and give you the Adventure Children's Museum starting lineups on the opposite side. Here's a glance at the Lamar defense. Well, actually, we're going to check that flag first and then get you to the Lamar defense on the backside of it. Our officials sorting out the first flag on this drive, and it's going to be against Lamar.
The ruling on the field is face pass defense.
Looking as if it's going to be a movement of the chains, and now, as promised, the Lamar defense looks like this.
Yes, I think DQ Green, he's definitely leading the defense with 101 tackles and 17 tackles for loss. Lamont Williams, he's also has 70 total tackles and 20 tackle for losses. And that's the key. When you can make tackles for loss, this team has 145 tackles for loss. So any team that's in the backfield like that, you got a chance to win a ball game.
There's the first for McMillan, and he'll be covered up as they carry him right down the line, and that is snuffed out. Very nicely done as Lamar was able to get, looked to be, who else? Pierce running the other quarterback to the ground. By the way, those starting lineups a moment ago brought to you once more by Adventure Children's Museum. Check them out at adventure.org. We told you about them a little bit earlier. Appreciate their sponsorship of our starting lineups in this one. Both quarterbacks getting together there, Toby.
Yes, it's probably going to be like that all day long.
Not the last time we will see those two numbers colliding, I'm sure. Here's another flag. Probably not the last time we'll see this either. Still some state championship jitters to work out as the second flag comes in on this drive. The last one was to the benefit of the Red Raiders. This one looks like it's going to back them up.
And that's kind of hard to play behind the sticks, Definitely third down, second down, and long. And the way this defense has been playing and getting after it, So I think Bamberg just needs to take their time and get some of it back. That's the key. Don't try to get it all back at one time and drop back and throw a bomb and get a pick. And you can definitely turn this game around with a turnover.
Bamberg Ehrhardt backed up to the 36-yard line. They're going to need the 47 on the opposite side of the field to move the chains as the Red Raiders go to work on second down. Caught. And Walker, whose name we called earlier on the kickoff, going to work his way out of bounds pretty quickly. Let's talk about this Bamberg Ehrhardt team, Toby. This team coming in undefeated. They ended up perfect in the region, perfect overall. They come in riding great momentum, particularly that 10-minute or so drive. You talk about long drive. They went on one to come from behind, take care of business against Cross to make sure they could punch their ticket into the championship round. But this is a team with a couple of titles all time looking for number 3 here in the Class A title bout. And there's a great deal of history between these two teams. It's going to be up near the original line of scrimmage, so there's work to be done here for Bamberg Ehrhardt. But you talk about these two teams, and regardless of the classification, Toby, they know one another well.
Absolutely. Like I said, it started off basically both teams was in two-way football, and they had great rivals and different things. So it's been building for a long time. And now both of those teams are in 1A football, but the football is still the same. I mean, you got physical football, you got toughness, you got all the things that bring tenacity. That's why you got a great championship football game.
It all comes down to this in the Class A ranks. We know we're going to have a new champion in Class A. Of course, Abbeville taking care of that Cross team that we referenced a moment ago, 58-20 in the state championship environment a year ago with Abbeville bounced. As you mentioned Louisville earlier, there will be a new Class A champion, whatever happens. And that's saying something. We got 3 rematches and 4 champions back this year. So this is one of the classifications where that is not the case.
False start.
Here's the latest
on the offense.
Again,
still fourth down.
Procedure against the Red Raiders. So this punt's going to come from a little further back.
Yes, I mean, you don't want to put yourself in this situation, but, hopefully you can just get a good punt and pin them deep. At least change the field. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to do in these situations. And hopefully you can get a great punt and maybe pin them back some.
Pretty good return up across the 40. Ball pops out, but the Lamar Silver Foxes able to land on it. Heads up play there for Lamar to make sure the football stayed on this side of things. Very nicely done as we get one more look at this return. Little uh-oh moment for Lamar, but they do hang on to the football. One touch apiece behind us and one score on the board as the Silver Foxes lead it early. Stay tuned for the Foundation Solutions halftime report. We'll have a special interview with South Carolina High School League officials. First half highlights, a whole lot more, all coming up as part of the Foundation Solutions halftime report. Well, how about Moses hopping on that a moment ago as the ball popped out, and in the end, able to jump right on top of it when they needed it. Jeremiah Moses, one of the key 10th graders on this squad, to keep possession for Lamar. And Toby, one of the emerging storylines here, both teams have had the ball but once, and we're looking at 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yes, again, I say sustained drives and maintain drives. The only way you can keep great offense is keep them off the field and just keeping the ball.
Torrey Pierce going up top. He's got his man, but it is in and out of the hands of Nigel Eady at around the 25-yard line. That was a play drawn up beautifully. They just couldn't quite reel it.
Hey, I actually like it. You know, you've been running the football, you've been establishing the run, so why not drop back and play action? And I mean, he threw a great ball. It's just right off his fingertips, you know, and if he catches this ball, just another big play. But I like the aggressiveness of Lamar, that they're not coming out and say, hey, again, we just in this ball game. We come to win this ball game.
Also see the different ways they plan to use Nigel Eady in this one. He is one of the key performers for the Silver Foxes of Lamar. Too many white jerseys there, too many red hats. There's the Red Raiders led to the charge. We called Jalen McGraw's name time and again. He's the bandit all over the place, right in the thick of that defense. And boy, did they come up with a stop here.
Yes, I mean, they just get off. I mean, that's what they do. Defensive ends have a lot of tackles for loss, and they've been doing it all year long. So now, but the defensive standard is set the standard. That's what the name of their defense is, set the standard. So after that first drive, I think Coach Crosby probably got into him and said, hey, let's get back to what we do best and let's set this standard.
Yeah, the defense being the tone setter in this one, that much is for sure. Third down from behind the sticks. What a different story this is for Lamar. After the first down play was incomplete, just trying to get rid of it out in the flat, but it's going to fall harmlessly to the turf. Fourth down's coming.
Again, just great pressure. I mean, that's what you have to do. You just can't let them just sit back there. You have to be relentless on defense. That's what they're known for, is setting the standard. And, you know, got the big push up the middle. He missed the first tackle, but you just got hats getting to the ball. That's what defensive coaches want to hear, hats getting to the football.
Fourth down. Time to kick it away. By the way, Juju Morris, who made that outstanding catch, the one-handed grab earlier, serves as the punter for this Lamar squad. So he's standing back at around the 27-yard line to kick it. And you see who's back to take care of business, Charles Anthony Williams. And contact with the punter. Flag comes out. Now remember, it was 4th and 12. And this is a tremendous punt that is finally going to be blown dead. They're still letting it roll inside the 3-yard line. What a job by Juju Morris. Not only did he stand in there and take the lick, and this is what you don't want to see, he also provided one of the better punts you're ever going to see in a state championship environment. A couple of things of concern here, Toby. Number one, what's the penalty? But first and foremost, what's the status of Juju Morris? He remains down.
Yes, and, you know, I hope this young man is not hurt. I just, you know, we just pray for that. It's just
illegal formation.
He just can get up
on the offense. Personal foul. Roughing the kicker on the defense. They're going to offset. 4th down.
So offsetting penalties. Well, it looks like insult to injury here that there was also a penalty on Lamar, which is going to mean Juju Morris's outstanding kick will be negated. More importantly right now, though, you see the contact that has left number 3 down at around the 25-yard line. And, you know, this is one of those times that regardless of what colors you're wearing and what glasses you see the football game through, everybody rooting for this young man to hop up and be able to continue. Clock stopped with 2:27 to go in the opening quarter as Juju Morris, one of the outstanding wide receivers for Lamar, who also serves as the Silver Foxes punter, is being tended to by the training staff. Boy, this is exactly, if you're Tyler Boyd, the last thing you want to see right now with one of your playmakers or any of your young men for that matter.
Absolutely. You know, especially when you're playing this Ironman football, you know, every person that goes down, especially when he's the punter. You know, you can get by with some things if he was just a receiver and maybe a kick return. You got other guys that can turn punts, but it's hard to get somebody back there that can punt the ball. And we just seen how far he just punted this football and how it just rolled. So we'll watch that and see how that's going to play out for the rest of the game.
Well, it looks like this is going to take some time as Juju Morris remains down at the 25-yard line. Remember, it was a roughing the kicker penalty, the worst of those 2 potential flags. But it came as part of an offsetting penalty scenario. So fourth down is going to have to be replayed from the 42 at some point, but right now the main factor is finding a way to get 3 back to his feet. Don't get a lot of opportunities to talk about the training staffs for these high school programs all around the state, but the job they do tending to these young men, also a big part of what takes place here. Well, it looks like he's going to be helped off to the near side, and certainly we wish the best for Juju Morris. Of course, one game in the books this weekend, a lot of football remaining here. Oceanside taking care of business against BHP. Northwestern and Irmo in a rematch tonight. You look at what the rest of the slate looks like, all culminating in the Dutch Fork Somerville contest in primetime tomorrow night for the 5A Division I crown. And Toby mentioned it, 3 straight rematches this year. 4 returning champions are back trying to repeat. A lot of tremendous storylines on this weekend of champions.
Yes, I mean, it's just a great football, man. I posted when I came here, you know, this is the last weekend of football in the state of South Carolina. So why not have some of the best team and the best games, you know what I'm saying, on these next 2 days. It's just going to be, it's just an awesome atmosphere for us to be here.
Yeah, this one and then one more tonight to complete a 3-game first day, and the same thing will be on tap for you tomorrow. Games at high noon, 4 p.m. and 7:30. And of course the game to follow tonight, Irmo and Northwestern, a game that was settled by a field goal with no time remaining. Matthew Fish, a 27-yarder with no time left to lift Northwestern over Irmo a year ago. If the next round of that's anything like the first one was last season, going to be a lot of fun. You want to stick around all evening.
Absolutely. I mean, like those games, you know, even from last year, all of them just great games. And we continue, there's going to be some great games for the rest of this weekend.
Here's the 4th down try, and Pierce going to be forced to kick it. You know, they lost the punter, one of the key wide receivers in Juju Morris's departure. This is a pretty good one from Pierce. I think he's done that before. A little pooch down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. So not quite the kick we saw from Juju Morris, but difficult field position for the Red Raiders nonetheless as they're set for their second touch of the day. How about a tale of 2 drives for Lamar there, Toby? The first drive was like clockwork. They went the length of the field in order to take a 7-0 advantage, but the Red Raiders made some adjustments, snuffed out this drive.
I mean, that's what you do as great teams. You know, you're not 14-0 for a reason. You don't give up 95 yards a game, basically total offense either. And I probably, like I said, Coach Crosby talked to him and said, we are the standard, and we need to set the standard. And that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to work their will and do the things that they've been coached to do and help their offense to put in position so they can maybe go down and tie up this football game.
Red Raiders to work from inside their own 10, and Bamberg Ehrhardt will keep it on the ground up to the 13, call it the 14-yard line. There's Jalen McGraw. It's true on both sides, the Iron Man piece of it. We talked about it with Zori Pierce, the quarterback for Lamar, a bit ago. And here's McGraw, whose name we've called a couple of times defensively, getting his initial look offensively. He's one of the senior leaders of this team.
I mean, he's just a great running back. I mean, he's just tough. You know, he's already rushed for 1,080 yards. He averages 11.7 yards a carry, you know what I'm saying, and with 11 touchdowns. So he's a double-digit guy as far as putting the ball in the end zone.
Got him, a talented back, a big-time threat. You got, of course, Darian Cease. You got Marcus Can, a number of different guys back there who can make their mark in the outfield. Talked about Walker, who can make his mark in the backfield. Just a lot of different individuals who can do so. And having to swarm to the football right now and set up a 3rd down, this Lamar D. 3rd down, and they're going to call it a long 2. Need the 19.
This is the type of situation they like to be in. 3rd and short.
Across the 18 to the 19. This is going to be very close to the marker. You said it, Toby. You'll take 3rd and short all day, and it looks as if, at first glance, this is going to be enough. Let's see where they spot it. Our officials still eyeballing it over there to see if it is enough, and they will say absolutely. It's a 1st down. Move the change. That's a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down. As the Red Raiders move the change. Boy, breathing room, the order of the moment for the Red Raiders right now, right?
Absolutely. They're just running straight power, and that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to enforce their will and do what they do. Just take what they give you. You know, if they're just giving you the short run game, if they're giving you 2 or 3 yards, take it.
That was Marcus Can. Mentioned he's another of those in the stable alongside Jalen McCraw, who we were talking about earlier. Another flag comes in. Got a quick glance at Corey Crosby there a moment ago. What a job he's done putting his staff together and bringing this Bamberg Ehrhardt team here unscathed.
Good ball. False start on the offense.
Still first back. The Red Raiders up a bit on 1st down. What can you say about the job that Coach Crosby and his staff have done with this team in what thus far is an undefeated season?
I mean, it's just awesome. You know, he's been around Bamberg for a long time. You know, he's been at the school for basically 20 years, basically like 17 years as the head coach or so. So, I mean, he knows the program in and out. And he knows what it takes to win. But just to put a magnificent run like they have right now, it's just something truly and great to watch.
He has them energized. Whole town's here. What was the story? Last one out of town? Lock the door, right?
Lock the door.
Everybody from Bamberg making the trip up, and Bamberg Ehrhardt, one of the great locations historically in the state of South Carolina. This crew well represented as they look on, trying to battle back in the final half minute of the opening period, a period that has passed us by pretty quickly. Lamar went on a long drive that ate up more than half the quarter to put up a 7 on the scoreboard, and both teams trading the football back and forth since. Let's see what the Red Raiders can do taking the final 30 for a spin. A championship back in the 1960s. Another in 1990 after they came up just short in 89. You remember those days, right?
Absolutely.
Central Pageland taking care of it in 89 when Bamberg Ehrhardt was on the doorstep. Red Raiders came back and won it the next year against Andrew Jackson in 1990, and that is the most recent championship. They're going for their 3rd all-time here today. And group that has 11 state runner-up finishes. That means 11 lower state championship crowns along the way. This is a team that has been a staple in South Carolina football. And they battle it through one quarter with Lamar, separated by a single possession. 7-0 Silver Foxes at the end of the first at the weekend of champions in Orangeburg. About this toss, caught down the near side and breaking loose to take it all the way is Rakeem Walker. And just like that, one play into the second period, it's a brand new contest, pending the extra point.
That's the same thing they've been doing all year long. I mean, you see, just catching big-time balls, he's making big-time throws, and that's what you have to do in order to get this game back and get your crowd back into it.
75-plus yards on this connection. Take another look.
It's just great. I mean, he looked it off a little bit. The safety took a bad angle, and he just threw it. It's a speedster like that. It's hard to catch him. They've had big play after big play and connection after connection all year long.
Talk about taking advantage of the quarter break. It results in a Palmetto Bath touchdown, and the extra point just as true to make it 7 apiece. 79 yards on this connection. A Palmetto Bath touchdown, which equalizes for the unbeaten Red Raiders of Bamberg Ehrhardt. Well, we just saw a highlight play that will no doubt be a part of the Foundation Solutions halftime report. You'll hear from the South Carolina High School League. First half highlights like that one you just saw, and a whole lot more, all coming up as part of the Foundation Solutions halftime report. And we are 11:49 away, as that took right around 10 seconds or so to get the job done. Just beyond that, 79-yard connection to Rakeem Walker. And these two teams showing you that there are very different ways to score. And this football game suddenly even at 7 apiece. Our preferred appliance kickoff is blown dead at the 17-yard line while our officials sort it all out, get these two teams ready to go on the coming drive. Let's go ahead and check in field side for a little more on the injured Juju Morris. Claire?
Well, yeah, guys, to give you an injury update on you, you just saw him back out there on that play. After he came off on the sidelines, they started working on his lower leg, started massaging it out a little bit, taped him up. Then he started running up and down the sidelines, getting loose a little bit, still leaning a little bit to that left side, limping a little bit, but definitely looks a lot better than he did before.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Boy, one of the best sights of the state championship weekend already, Toby, to see Juju Morris back out there. It was questionable for a while.
Yes, but this type of determination and guts that he has is inside. You know, not everything is about the outside or physical thing. It's about what kind of heart do you have? What kind of desire do you have? You know, to be great, or the willingness to go out there and help your team, whether it be a decoy, be anything that you can to help your team. And he's going to try to find and will himself to do that for Lamar.
And it'd take a pack of horses to drag you out of a championship game like this, right? If you've got anything left to play in a state championship environment, you're going to give it your best and be out there with your brotherhood. As these coaches so often say, as these teams so often remind us, you've been going to battle with these men standing beside you to your left and your right all season long. To let them down in this moment, the last thing on your mind.
Absolutely, definitely last thing on your mind. But I think this team knows Juju, if he's able to play and able to give anything, you know what I'm saying, but I don't think he want to be detrimental to his team either. You know, if he know that he can't do certain things, you know, he would probably tell his coach, hey coach, I just can't go. And I understand that they would understand that.
Let's take a look at the scoring drive you saw just a moment ago for Bamberg Ehrhardt, of course, capped with that 79-yard touchdown toss that finished up the 6-play, 91-yard drive. Our Palmetto Pride scoring summary brought your way. Palmetto Pride working together for a litter-free South Carolina. And Palmetto Pride reminding you now that they're keeping South Carolina beautiful as the state's anti-litter organization. Underneath, guess who? Finds it across the 20 to the 21, but is hit and dropped immediately. Well, we didn't wait into the second quarter, right? We went to hot into the second quarter. So let's take a look at what happened in that first period now that we're starting to kind of settle in to this one. What were your takeaways from the numbers from the first quarter, Toby?
I mean, you know, pretty much dead even, you know. Bill Hunting pass. Bamberg has 87 yards passing, but basically 60-something come up on one play. You know what I'm saying? So it's really been tight and really been the defensive game and the defensive struggle, the hard-nosed game that we've been looking for.
Well, those are your Jim Hudson Automotive stats from the first quarter of action. Jim Hudson Automotive, experienced it once, you'll never forget it. That's certainly true of the state championship environment. We're glad you've chosen to be with us on championship weekend in the Palmetto State. These two teams both beginning to get their sea legs underneath them, it seems, in the championship environment. Here's another nice play, and that's going to be a Stewart Law Office's first down. You can move the chains up near midfield for Lamar.
Yes, and you know Juju hurt his ankle. He just punted that football also too, so it shows you the guts that he has to come out here and do it. So we got to look at that too to see how much field position, you know, that they gain by him punting the football, or do you put somebody else back there? Maybe Pierce, because he did it one other time, and put him back there, let him punt, and save his ankle, you know what I'm saying, for the rest of the game.
That's right. We saw Pierce do it a moment ago. So though Juju Morris has been the kicker across the course of the season, Torrey Pierce is an option there. First down play after the punt, quickly into the hands of Charles Anthony Williams, the Red Raiders. You know, this is a team that struck quickly a moment ago to start the second period. They have the football back now. This is a test for the Lamar D all of a sudden.
Absolutely, it's a test for him. You know, this team can get rolling real fast. You know, if they scored a bunch of points, 40 points in 12 of their ball games. So, I mean, it's a team that can strike really fast.
RD, who in many ways that turned it around for this crew. Think about this, Toby. Lamar's defense gave up 134 in 4 games. They gave up 83 in the final 8 in terms of points allowed. When this defense turned, this season turned.
Absolutely. You know, anytime you get to a championship, you build off defense. You know, we've seen a couple times where teams get it, you can score some points, but you're going to find some teams that can slow you down like they're doing today. You're going to have to work hard for it.
Another toss, this time far side, same result. Not the touchdown piece of it, but the long connection is there, and that is Jason Humans, who has it on the far side inside the 10-yard line.
I mean, it's just a great throw. It's a long throw, but it just shows his arm strength, and he just puts it down. People think, oh, he's not going to throw it there, or he can't throw it this far. This young man is showing that he has a great arm strength to throw it to the field.
Tremendous third down conversion there, and a Doctor's Implants red zone opportunity. Reminder, Doctor's Implants, empowering people through full mouth dental implants, sponsors of our red zone. Loose and into the end zone. A rushing touchdown for Jalen McGraw to go along with Rakeem Walker's touchdown reception of 79 yards a moment ago. And the second quarter thus far belongs to the Red Raiders.
Yes, you know, that's what happens. You know, team build off momentum, but this is just a great job, a great vision. I mean, basically the play was stopped going, but the back has vision. He cuts back through the game and keep his feet moving, and then he just cuts back and he just scores and walks into the end zone.
Here's the Palmetto Bath touchdown. Palmetto Bath, experts in fast, beautiful tub and shower remodels, serving Columbia, Greenville, and Asheville. You can learn more at palmettobath.com. Sponsoring our touchdowns, of which there have already been a couple for Bamberg Ehrhardt in the early stages of this second quarter to claim the lead. Stay with us. The distance. We'll have the Stanley Law Group Player of the Game before we're done. Stanley Law Group, your injury law professionals. Visit StanleyLawGroup.com today. Sponsors of our Player of the Game. Some candidates for that already. And one player we've seen shine in this second quarter is Brian McMillan. His two long tosses, Toby, the 79-yard touchdown toss to Rakeem Walker and the long toss to Jason Humans a moment ago, which set up the McGraw run, the difference maker in the second quarter to this point. Here's a preferred appliance kickoff. Flags come in on the return, which is up over the 20 to the 23-yard line. There'll be flags to sort out here, but the arm strength of Brian McMillan has been a difference maker.
Yes, it's just great sitting up here watching it, and he's not just making throws to the boundary. That was a field throw. People know we're talking about, basically in the cover two, and the safety took bad angles a couple times, but he's probably thinking that he can't throw the ball this far. And so he's just letting the guy just sneak behind and hope he can break up and maybe get a pick or something like that. But he's just showing his arm strength, and he's just throwing the ball and heaving it and accurate, too.
Now we know Brian McMillican Jr., not only can he throw it that far, here's the call.
First down.
And they have that holding sorted out to back them up a bit. Not only can he throw it that far, he can do it to both sides of the field. It was the long toss which set up the touchdown. 4 plays, 44 yards. Of course, McGraw finishing it off there. Two very different ways of getting the job done. Quick strike capability for Bamberg Ehrhardt on display there as you look at the Palmetto Pride scoring summary. Trying to set up a screen. Guess who? That's Juju Morris once again. Morris, at least for now, showing no major signs of wear after coming back into the contest. He's a little slow mover there, Toby, but the fact that he's back out there speaks volumes.
Absolutely. And I think Lamar may be trying to set him up. They've been throwing the ball to Juju. Now you can fake one to him and basically, run the screen, the fake screen, and just go down the field. So it's options that you can, use a great player, especially when you've been using him for the last couple of plays.
Loading up, firing away himself is Zori Pierce. His receiver has the weight on it, and Jason Humans arrives first. Humans had the long catch on the far side, which set up the TD a moment ago. He has the pick defensively to take it back away for the Red Raiders.
That's just that Iron Man football. That's what it's all about. Bad snap that started, didn't pressure up the gut, so it kind of sailed on him some mistake, but it's just a great catch. It's like a baseball player. He's running the ball down, and he just came up with it to help him put his team in position to maybe even have a chance to score again.
Well, you saw that is going to go on the board as our nominee from this first half for the stop of the game. So you may be seeing a potential stop of the game there, certainly a nominee to that end. As with 7:38 to play, the interception by Jason Humans in this second quarter has the Red Raiders in business again, riding a wave of momentum here. Red Raiders going to move the chains. That's a Stewart Law Office's first down as they quickly work it into the grasp of Marcus Kent. So many different weapons they can come at you with.
Absolutely. It's just smart. And you've been throwing the ball down the field. Now you got defenders think you're going to throw it. So you just throw basically a little bubble screen, out to the back and just put him out in space and let the receivers block and just gain positive yards.
For a Lamar team that ate up half plus of the initial period by putting a 7-0 advantage on the board, needing to tighten up now as they find themselves down 2 scores with the Red Raiders looking for more. And here is another Stewart Law Office's first down inside the 25-yard line. And you see the reaction from McMillan as he takes care of business here.
That's just great. It was designed quarterback draw. And just look how tough he is. You just can't put one hand on him and think you're just going to bring him down. This young man, he breaks tackles. He does things to give the extra yards for his team to be successful.
Stewart Law Office's first down over 25 years. Protecting the rights of the injured. Visit StewartLawOffices.net today. And another bid for a Stewart Law Office's first down. And it is another Stewart Law Office's first down, this time in the heart of the Doctor's Implants red zone. A lot extra coming on the back end of this, as the catch was made by Jason Humans, who's been in the thick of everything of late for Bamberg Ehrhardt.
Yes, I mean, it's just a great route, just pitch and catch. You know, that's what you do. And he just made a nice move and just getting upfield. That's what he does. I mean, he makes tackle for loss. He goes run back. He picks the ball. So, I mean, it's just a young man who's willing to do anything he can to help his team win.
And that was Juju Morris who slammed him down.
After the play was over,
here comes the
personal foul on the defense. It's going to be a first down.
That will set the Red Raiders up on the doorstep. They're now in the heart of the Doctor's Implants red zone. Boy, with just the midway point of the second quarter upon us, the Red Raiders of Bamberg Ehrhardt have flipped a switch in this game.
Yes, they have. But we talked about before, they definitely had the capability.
The numbers bear it out. You were looking at a lot of those numbers pregame. You said these are video game-like numbers. It's hard to believe they're reality.
It's just hard to believe, but
you're seeing them come to fruition now. Line it up. Too many bodies stacked up at around the 2-yard line as black jerseys arrive on the scene. And Lamar turns this first down run aside. Second and goal.
It's just all this quarterback power. It's basically trying to push the defenders back and do your will. And I think you're going to see that a couple times. You know, they're going to get it in the heavy set, the jumbo set, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to wheel their way in this end zone.
Stacked up again. How about that? Good push up the middle for Lamar. Third and goal coming with inside 6 minutes to play in the half.
Once they're not so fast, it's not going to be easy. You know, we're not one of these teams just let's go. You know, we may be in some, but we try not to break. So, I mean, but maybe is it a setup? You know, you've been running the ball twice on the inside. Do you try to do something maybe to fake it and get to the outside, or maybe some jump pass or something different like that? I'm pretty sure they got a lot of things up there, sleep that they've been doing all year long.
This is the play where you'll see it. Third down and goal for a Red Raiders team looking to make it 3 scores unanswered here. It's Crosby's team glaring over at that sideline, as it appears they're going to take some time to discuss this third down play.
I think they're smart. You know, you want the best play in the best situation at this time like that. You just don't want to come out. And I think that Coach Wilson, basically Coach Fannin, he'll have a play that he's probably been working on all year long. Sometimes you do that. You know, you work on plays for a long time, and hopefully you don't have to use it, but now may be a point.
Let's talk about those coaches just a moment. Greg Fanning, you referenced him, offensive coordinator, 3 years there at the school. Travis Wilson, who you mentioned, 17 years there, and the defensive coordinator. And, of course, Corey Crosby, who we talked about, 2 decades. And 5 years head coach with 50 wins plus to his credit already. Included is the undefeated mark that he's put together so far this season. This is a Bamberg Ehrhardt team where everything's gone their way across the course of the season, and you can begin to see why, Tony.
Absolutely. Like I say, you know, he's been at Bamberg for a long time. He's a staple there. And I think, you know, all the community, you know what I'm saying, the school system, I think every kid, you know, from elementary school to basically the middle school wants to play for this guy. I mean, he just has a sense of aura about him, and I think he just loves Bamberg.
Chasing title number 3 for one of the great communities in all of the Palmetto State. They are on the verge, perhaps, of a third score this quarter. Third down, though, standing in the way. And fighting over the left side this time. There is no room. And Lamar has tightened to bring up 4th down and goal.
That's a great stand. That's what you got to do. You just got to bow your back. Lineman have to get. Don't peek in the backfield. Don't look at the action going on. Just do your job. This is when the situation is coaches tell you, hey, just if you got A-gap responsibility, take the A-gap, take the B-gap, take the C-gap. Let the backers roam and do what they need to do, but just do what you're supposed to do.
What a stand it would be for his team. Tyler Boyd steps out. One more play called there. Here's the 4th and goal. And spinning forward toward the goal line, but coming up shy is the ball carrier, and Lamar has withstood the Red Raiders' push on the doorstep to turn Bamberg Ehrhardt aside.
As you can see, it's just relentless pressure getting in the backfield. That's what it's going to take. You know, this team, I told you before, had 145 tackle for losses. So it's just showing right now they have relentless pressure to get in the backfield to cause havoc before the play can actually start.
Well, that's a Columbia SC stop of the game nominee. We talked about the takeaway a moment ago, but how about this brick wall that the Lamar defense became on the goal line?
Absolutely, it's just great. But now on the other side, Bamberg thinking, hey, maybe we can get a safety here or force them to do something. You know, if it's a pass play, getting a hold of the but probably going to see a big dose of Edie trying to get out of here.
Dangerous territory for Zori Pierce and company, and he'll just kind of duck his head low and get out across the 2-yard line. 4.5 to go in the opening half of action. If you're just finding us, congratulations in order. Oceanside won the earlier contest against BHP. We are in the thick of the second game of championship weekend. This is the Class A final between Bamberg Ehrhardt's Red Raiders and the Silver Foxes of Lamar. Lamar ate up the first half of the opening period to march down and score, take a 7-0 lead. Bamberg Ehrhardt has scored 2 touchdowns here in the second quarter. And now Lamar, after a goal line stand, goes to work with very little room with which to work, but this will provide some, Toby. That's a key Stewart Law Office's first down, and it's going to provide a little breathing room for this squad.
Hey, that's just a great call, great determination to get this first down. And even if you don't score on this drive, even though you want to score, you know, what you didn't want to do is not run the clock out and have to punt because your punter is hurt, and then give Bamberg a clear path to maybe score again before.
Holding on the offense. Still suck it down.
Just when it looked as if Lamar might be out of there with some playbook openings. Here's the holding call that will back them up, and you get a look at it here.
All right, so it's just unfortunate, you know, but hey, just got to come back and just regroup and then just make a great play. You know what I'm saying? After that, you can't hold your head down.
Ball placed inside the 2-yard line. Pierce backing up into the danger zone. He does toss that out, somehow caught by his guy at around the 10, and lunging across to the 12-yard line is DQ Green. Green caught 19 this year. None may be more breath-stopping than this one.
I know it. It's just good to trust your players and know what's it. You can see the ball wobbling a little bit because of the weather, you know. So it's just a dangerous pass, but he got away with it. But as we can see before, they have ball hawks in that secondary, so don't try that too many times.
DeShazor Green, they call him DQ. In fact, the neat moment in the South Carolina High School League press conferences earlier today, Tyler Boyd said, I'm going to say his full name, and it may be the first time I got it right all year. You have that sometimes with these coaches and these players. They love one another and go to battle together often, and he loves what he saw from his kid here. He'll also love what he sees from his QB here. Zori Pierce out across the 35. He also draws the flag, as that hit may have come just a little late.
Yes, one thing you can't do is just lose your focus. You know, even just because you're up don't mean anything. You have playmakers like Pierce who can take it the distance. You can see right here that he's going out of bounds. So clearly, just let young kid go out of bounds. And we had a big scuffle before this, so we try to keep it clean.
Personal foul on the defense. It's going to be a first down.
Yeah, the sportsmanship piece of it, Toby, what we enjoy seeing in these state championship environments as much as anything. And what are you seeing there filling up the middle of the screen?
Just basically, Pierce, like, he's not trying to just outrun everybody and do certain things. I mean, he's a smart player, but it's like he has a brace on his left leg, maybe from an injury, maybe before, that he's not probably 100% to see the elusiveness of the 60 and 70-yard touchdown, the 50-yard touchdown that you're used to. But he's just smart enough to make his plays and do what he has to do and just get out.
He missed it earlier, 95 of 156 for 1,800-plus yards and 16 touchdowns. Also ran for 19 touchdowns along the way this season. He's the dual threat guy. You saw it a moment ago. Going to give off this time, but they stack him up, the ball carrier that is, at the 41-yard line. Okay, we're closing in on 3 minutes to go, but this drive that started in the shadow of their own goal line now has Lamar in plus territory thinking about equalizing here at the half.
It looks like the first drive when they started the game, and that's what you got to have. You got to sustain drives and put some points on the board. You know, if you can get down and get a field goal, hopefully. But I mean, just don't count them out. You know, they in this game for a reason, being the state championship, and they got playmakers everywhere.
That's tipped And was it intercepted? What a diving effort to reel it in by Jalen McGraw. He's done a little bit of everything, and he does what the Red Raiders need in this moment. Take a look at this. First of all, to get to it, Toby, but then to readjust and take it off the ground for an interception.
I mean, he's just athletic. I mean, he did home. He stayed home like he's supposed to because he didn't know if the quarterback was going to keep the ball, so he stayed at home with a looser quarterback like Pierce. And just for him, like you say, to jump up and tip the ball and then turn around and catch it, just miraculous.
Remember, he had a touchdown run just an instant ago that put this team up 14-7. And here, rarely in football do you see a solo performance, but that could serve as one. He swatted it away and somehow snatched it out of the sky.
Yes, remarkable. Acrobatic.
We'll give them the football 55 yards away from pay dirt, and that's incomplete over the middle. They tried a quick strike to Charles Anthony Williams, but with 2:32, the clock stops after the incompletion.
That was a great play design, though. Before, they ran that same play and hit it down the sideline. Then they threw the ball to the running back a couple minutes ago and set you up. Now, that one was to get the safety to come off the hash to hit you in the middle with a great throw that could have been walking in for 6. So I like what the coach is doing. He's using one play, and he's using all 3 different parts of it. You know, he's hit you deep on the left, and he's hit you with a bubble screen, and now he tried to hit you up the seam.
Well, and how many times have you told us over the years in these state championship environments, another deep shot here, and that's in and out of the hands of his intended target. Tried to hit Raheem Walker again. Remember, that was his target on the 79-yard touchdown toss a moment ago, but McMillan's pass pops right off his pads this time.
I mean, again, he's throwing the ball to the field. You know, you're talking about a long throw, and he just putting his ball on the money. I mean, you can't ask for nothing better than a quarterback. You can't ask for nothing better than a receiver, just be given that chance to make a big-time play.
Well, Brian McMillan's had a great first half. He's 8 of 9, and you saw what 9 of 9 would have looked like right there with these 2 tosses in these last 2, so make him now 8 of 10. But over 140 yards, the 79-yard touchdown toss, a big part of that. The 1 touchdown and a couple of long key passes. I was just going to say a moment ago as the 4th down's coming here, how many times have you told us over the years in these state championship environments, watch it for later on, that so many of these play calls that we're looking at right now may be a matter of setting certain things up for later on.
Absolutely, and on this play right here, the receiver stopped running. I guess he didn't think the ball was coming to him because they've been throwing the ball to the flat. But one thing I can tell you that he's doing a great job of looking off. He's looking like he's really going to throw this screen. I'm figuring if he is open, he will take the open receiver.
3 incomplete passes all on that drive in the contest, and all 3 of them had potential to be caught. This is inside the 10, and it's going to be blown dead at the 6. That's where Lamar will take over again. So after doing all that work to dig out of their own goal line a moment ago and get to midfield before the interception, Lamar in many ways right back where it started in a 1-score game with 2:09 to play. And I've got to ask you, what are your impressions so far as we close in on halftime of the Class A championship battle?
This thing's just a great battle. You know, it's 14-7. People say, well, it could easily be 21-7, but it didn't work that way. You know, and Lamar come to play football. And that's what you want. You know, you want teams that, you know, bend but don't break. And that's what they did. They didn't bend but don't break. But both teams are doing what they, you know, what they're here for. And that's to win the state championship and to play hard and put on a great performance. And that's what they're doing. 7
state championships between these 2 programs over the years. The most recent coming in 2017 for Lamar. The most recent coming in 1990 for this Bamberg Ehrhardt squad that is riding an unbeaten record coming into the state championship environment. It's that Red Raiders group leading it by 7 with under 2 minutes to play in the half. You wonder if Lamar has any designs on opening things up right here. Backed up in their own territory with such little time left in the half. Remember, Bamberg Ehrhardt will get the football in the 3rd quarter. And too much movement on the front side of this play. Here's a flag.
Ball, encroachment on the defense.
That's going to be the defense this time flag. Nobody moving on the offensive line. You see him work through that left side.
Yeah, Big Moody trying to get in the backfield, trying to get a snap count. But he's had a wonderful game. He's been in the backfield and been disruptive the whole time. So, you know, Coach tell him, you know, he can live with it and do it. Plus, when you back down here, you figure, you know, they may try to throw the ball, like you say, Jason. May try to create a spark. You know what I'm saying, to get something to do it. But you got to be careful. Again, you know, it's wet out here. You're only down 14-7. You could be down 21-7, so don't do anything that's going to jeopardize, that lead, and they can come back and still be up 21-7 and get the ball back and do the flip.
Well, plenty of confidence in your defense, too, to start the third quarter when you consider they just stiffened their neck on the goal line a moment ago and did not allow the Red Raiders to score. As they sort this out, a little bit of a recap for you. That 12-play, 80-yard drive that ate up a good portion of the first quarter game clock put Lamar up 7-0 on the very first play from scrimmage in the second quarter. The long touchdown toss to Walker from McMillan evened the score, and then McGraw's run just a few minutes after that put Bamberg Ehrhardt up 14-7. That's where we sit with a minute and a half even on that game clock. Edey is driven out of bounds after picking up a first down. So there's the Stewart Law Office's first down and some room to work with 90 seconds to play in the half.
Yes, I think if you can get, maybe plus a run for 6, 7, 8, 9 yards, or get the ball close to midfield. This is not a situation where, like, again, you want to throw one up and give up a pick six or do something or have a turnover, fumble, or do anything to give Bamberg opportunity to score and then score again after halftime. That's something that you don't want.
Yeah, please avoid the 2-for-1. That's the challenge of the coaching staff right now. Up across the 30 to the 32, here's Juju Morris once again. He weren't with us. Juju Morris injured on a punt a bit earlier, but he has come back and remains a contributor in this one, and that's good news for Lamar as he's close to a first down here.
That's right. This pitch and catch. I mean, you got out there one-on-one. You got a guy like Juju, even though he's injured, he's just showing you how much ability and how much will he has, that he's going to help his teammates do whatever we have to do. Just take me up, coach, and put me back in.
They are going to say it is, in fact, a Stewart Law Office's first down. Stewart Law Offices, over a quarter century, protecting the rights of the injured. You can visit them at stewartlawoffices.net today. And a timeout with 1:22 to play in the opening half of action. What a first half it has been. You look at these two teams, told you about the scoring opportunities they've embraced a moment ago, but how about overall yards? 28 plays for 148 of them for Lamar, 25 plays for 194 of them for Bamberg Ehrhardt. Pretty even between these two teams statistically.
Absolutely, but we said it from the get-go. I think one of the keys that we said was limit big plays and sustained drives. So they do those things, sustained drives and limit the big plays. This game could probably be still tied 7-7.
Pierce, if you're wondering about it, and company still working here with rain continuing to fall in Orangeburg. Happy to have you with us at FC Dawson Stadium on the campus of South Carolina State. 1:22 to work with, and just out of reach of DQ Green, the intended target. Pierce, 6 of 11 now for 39 yards. A couple of different times they've been able to snatch one out of the sky. But he's also done good work on the ground, as he's carried it 7 times for right at 70 yards and has a rushing touchdown, which capped the long drive a little bit earlier. So number one's been as advertised in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we didn't expect anything less from him. This guy's been doing it all season long. He's been gelling with his teammates, and he led them to the state championship game. And I guarantee you, by the end of this game, he's still going to do everything he can to help win this ball game.
Remember, Zori Pierce selected to an All-Star game in 2025 already. He eludes trouble and hits his target up at the 44-yard line. Good job coming back, giving his QB a little help here as the catch is made by Camille McCoy. First time we call his name.
Yeah, that's what it does. Anytime, the golden rule is if you wanted the longer receivers, if your quarterback get in trouble, try to help him bail out. But it's just a great job of, it's like a Lamar Jackson type play. You know what I'm saying? He tried to got people at his feet. He's keeping people off his feet, and it's complete. And that was a big completion because you get another first down or so in 58 seconds, you can have a chance to maybe score.
Well, it says Lamar on the helmet, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Lamar on the helmet. Here's first down. Stewart Law Office's first down. Set up a screen interior. Here's Juju Morris. He's got some room to midfield. 45 seconds on the game clock as it stops with the ball right on the 50, just below that South Carolina State logo. And Zori Pierce and company using every bit of this first half of action.
Yes, I mean, like I say, they didn't come here just for the dance. They come to dance. It's been great just watching them play. Just sitting back and just watching these long drives that they're having to come in. One of the big things we said, sustained drives. Even if you don't score, you know, you're wearing the defense down. You know, you're doing different things to set up maybe for the second half. So things that ain't working now, maybe it start clicking in the second half. So, you know, it's just a great job, great drive. But with 45 seconds, it may be hard to score, but you're still setting yourself up and know what you can do in the future.
Well, the Red Raiders of Bamberg Ehrhardt leading a Lamar team on the march here at midfield. Of course, Lamar out of Darlington County, South Carolina, a town of just a couple of thousand. Had a parade today when they departed. They hope to have a parade when they return. The home of the egg scramble they're known for here in the Palmetto State. Looking for what would be a 6th championship all time. They're down a score and working at it from midfield with 45 seconds to play in the half. Quarterback Pierce calling his own number, and he'll rush out of bounds at the 45. Well, what awareness there. He knew just where the marker was. He's got a Stewart Law Office's first down, and he stops the clock with 39 seconds.
That's just great pocket awareness. You know, sometimes they probably tell them to take deep shots down the field, and that takes a long time, you know, for it to develop. So offensive line will have to hold up a little bit longer, but you just see they're trying to take the deep shot down the field. The safety has it, so he said, I'm just going to be smart and just take the first down.
Now on the Red Raiders side of the 50. Lamar. And Pierce. Well, he's going to load up and fire away. Double coverage down there, and his guy comes away with the football. How about the job done by the receiver here to reel this in? And Toby, that's as good a catch as we've seen. It comes from Lamont Williams, who had 8 of them across the course of the season, a couple of them for touchdowns, and he set them up for another. And this is an adventure play of the game nominee. Take another look.
Absolutely, that's what you do. You just got to throw the ball up and give your big guy. He's a big guy, big tight end, H-back style. So you just got to give him a chance to go up and make a play, and that's what they did.
9th catch of the season for Lamont Williams. It is a memorable one. It comes with 21 seconds to play. He actually caught that with 22 and 21 on the game clock now with the clock stopped here. And they are inside the 5. A flag is down. Lamar trying to go coast to coast on this drive. Here's the call.
Head ball. False start. On the offense. Still first down. It's the defense. That's their 4.
Heard the mic cutting in and out a bit on this damp night in Orangeburg, but a sideline warning coming on the backside of the motion penalty against Lamar. It backs the Silver Foxes up to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal from the 7. Time just as critical with 21 seconds on the clock. Saw Coach Corey Crosby out there, and now they go over, also talk it through with Tyler Boyd, the head coach of Lamar. Zori Pierce threw into double coverage. Plenty of confidence in Lamont Williams. And Williams makes one of the plays of the first half. Now here's Pierce. Shuffles that inside. Guess who? Down to the 3-yard line. Fighting for every inch of real estate here. Clock winding toward 10 seconds remaining. Keep in mind just a timeout apiece remaining here. And one's going to be taken after progress is stopped at the 2-yard line. So it's going to be 2nd and goal, but now, Toby, just 10 seconds left in the half.
Yes, it's a tight situation, but, you know, that's what you build it for. You know, that's why you work out. That's why you lift weights. That's why you do things. You can see, watch the lineman come in at the end. You know, as he stopped and get hit, watch him come push him in and try to wheel his way into the end zone. That's what you do as a football team. You see all black jerseys around there. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to help their opponents and uplift their teammates.
Lamont Williams making the big catch earlier. They keep it in the heart between the hashes, right down near the goal line, and now it's 2nd down goal from the 2. Look, you got time. There's 10 seconds on the clock here. You've got time for more than a single play as long as you use the skies, right, and not the ground game on this occasion.
Absolutely. And I think they probably got something there, like I say, the quarterback, Pierce is so elusive that if the protection breaks down, that he maybe can run it in.
10 seconds on the game clock. And looking to throw toward the end zone, hard of it, and that is nearly picked off. There is time remaining, 4 seconds remaining on the game clock now. 3rd and goal coming. Boy, you think about a tale of 2 goal scenarios. Lamar coming up with a defensive stop in a goal situation on the other end, and now they need one here. And Toby, you saw a guy open toward the back there.
Yeah, it was just a wrong read, but sometimes when you got pressure in your face, you can't see everybody. So he was just going for the sure shot, but this is basically the game on the line right here. See if you can put it in and tie this ball game up.
Try to even things up at the half. Lamar on 3rd and goal, 4 seconds to work with. And Pierce going to call his own number, and he weaves through traffic and finds the end zone. That's a Palmetto Bath touchdown, and it puts Lamar within a single point. Pending the extra point, they will have tied it on one of the drives of the state championship weekend. You could say the drive they had to start the game and the drive they had to cap the half, remarkable.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the foundation that Lamar's built off of. I mean, it's just grind you, and we don't have to be fancy and throw the ball 50 times a game. We're just going to grind you out. We're not going to quit. We're going to push hard, and we're going to score touchdowns and keep this game close.
Isaiah Chacon on to try the extra point.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense, still an untimed down.
This, of course, against the Red Raiders, so you get another crack at the PAT for Isaiah Chacon. Chacon 45 of 59 in the extra point department across the course of the year. If he makes this one, which would be his 47th, he's perfect today. It would make it 14 all at the intermission. Here's Isaiah Chacon. Little trouble. And Red Raiders will slam the holder to the turf, which means it stays 14-13, a separation of a single point at the intermission. Here's a look at the trouble after the penalty on the snap that prevented Lamar from getting the kick up, but they do score and pull within 1. And Toby, think about the 2 drives for Lamar that bookended the half. The drive that ate up the first half of the first period, the drive that went from the doorstep of their own, the shadow of their own goal line, to the other end zone that has pulled Lamar within 1. What a way to start and end the half.
Yeah, that's what's in between. You know, it's a lot of games that's played in between, but those 2 drives right there, you know, sometimes starting is great, but maybe in the 3rd quarter, in the 4th quarter, if you can maintain those drives like you have, again, you're keeping a great offense off the field. If they cannot score, and if you're going down and at least you're scoring points, you're putting yourself at a chance of being a state champion.
All right, up a single point, Corey Crosby and company as we check in with Claire.
Thanks, guys. Coach, Lamar able to get the score there, but you stopped their extra point to maintain the lead. What resiliency did you see from your defense, and how did they respond to even their opening drive?
I mean, we came out, we made some mistakes, man. We wasn't fitting right. I feel bad. I should have kicked that field goal down there on that 1-yard line. That's a point. That's points I should have gave away. Then we had to stop right here. We dropped interceptions. We just got to clean up mistakes right now. We're making mistakes. We're dropping balls. We got to take care of ourselves and clean up ourselves right now.
Jalen McGraw has been huge for you on offense. Came up with a big interception on defense. How much are you going to look to him as you start with the ball in the opening?
We're gonna finish out with him. I mean, he's our guy, man. We got to take care of ourselves right now. But he's playing great. We're just gonna try to finish this thing out the right way and stop making all these mistakes right now.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, appreciate it.
Familiar foes and worthy combatants in the Class A title match, separated by just a single point at the intermission. Foundation Solutions halftime report coming up on the other side of the break. We appreciate you sticking with us for the broadcast presented by A&I Fire and Water Restoration of the Class A title game, which stands 14-13 at the break. When it goes out of bounds at around the 38, this will be outstanding field position for the Red Raiders. Toby, let's talk adjustments. Red Raiders get the football first, so as they sort this penalty out, walk us through what the adjustments in your mind will be for Bamberg Ehrhardt.
I think Bamberg need to stop with self-inflicted drives. You know what I'm saying? They basically stopping their own self. So they got to stop self-inflicting for stopping their own drives. And, you know, that's what drops and
Free
penalties.
kick out of bounds. Kicking team. 5 yards from the end of the spot. First down.
And there's the call on the kick out of bounds. Let's flip over to the other side. How about Lamar? What halftime adjustments do you see as needed for the Silver Foxes?
I think on defense, they just need to limit the big plays. I mean, they play hard, you know what I'm saying? They make them fight and scratch throughout the whole game. But you notice most time that Bamberg has scored, it has been aided by big plays and big throws. So I think they need to cut down on the stop the big plays, and they have a chance to win this ball game.
Well, he's been the guy generating those big plays. Brian McMillan Jr. back at the quarterback position for this Bamberg Ehrhardt squad, and he's going to make something out of nothing here and eventually tosses it to Charles Anthony Williams, and he's out of bounds after a first down. How about this work for a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down? This was everything in a snapshot that Brian McMillan Jr. brings to the table.
I mean, he's just a great playmaker, and you know, grab around the corner, he just going, and just the presence to know that somebody's out there. We just talked about limited big plays, so they come right back and make a big play. But it's hard to stop, you know, big Bamberg with big plays.
And here's a guy who is North Greenville University is interested. Newberry is interested. He's an all-region, all-state performer wearing jersey number 8. You can see why. And his team goes to work on the 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down play, working inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. What did you see from him in the first half that was marked by these numbers? 8 of 11, 146 yards and a touchdown. Of course, the long was that 79-yard touchdown toss to Raheem Walker. What were your takeaways from McMillan Jr.'s first half?
I mean, it's just great because he's a guy who uses his eyes and turns his whole body and sets you up. You know, a couple guys had a couple drops. So that's what we talked about, self-inflicted, you know, drive killers. If the other guys had caught some of these balls, he would probably be 11 for 11 for probably 250 yards in one half.
Well, if this had been caught, how about the jump of the route right here? What a game changer it could have been for Lamar. Take one more look at the job that was done here as Jalen Morris worked his way right there, but it's incomplete. So third down, and they're going to call it about 7 here.
Yes, again, you know, plays like that are risky, but you know, in the end, it maybe it's a setup for something else, pump faking and then coming back. But they just came right back to it and put the hands of a playmaker. And he just does what he do best and do what he's been doing all year. And that's creating space, his own space. You know.
That's Jason Humans making a catch here, and he's got the 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down well inside Lamar territory now.
It's just a hitch. You know, you get one-on-one coverage, he backs off of you. So we're just going to throw the ball and just take what they give us. And if they come up, we're going to try to run past them. So that's what happens when you complete a couple of long balls down the field. You know, it helps everything underneath so much easier.
When you think about what they're doing and who they're doing it against, this Lamar D that has really tightened up in this 11-game winning streak. Not able to do so here, and guess who? McMillan finds all kind of open real estate all the way to the end zone. A rushing touchdown for McMillan, something that he has added to the arsenal, and a Palmetto Bath TD creates further separation.
I mean, it's just great. You know, he's during the season, he just come back. It's a design, basic quarterback draw. You know, his fullback basically leaves a block. You don't even have to block anybody. I mean, he just makes him miss, and he's just so strong and so powerful. I mean, it's just a lot of things, great things you can say about this young man.
His dad was an everything football and baseball player. They called him Debo, so Debo Jr. is the nickname that Brian McMillan Jr. goes under. Whatever you call him, he's been right place, right time for this Bamberg Ehrhardt squad. Red Raiders taking a page out of Lamar's playbook, right? First possession of the half. Touchdown on the board. The lead grows to 8.
Your home is where your memories live, where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
During the fourth quarter of today's contest, we will have the Bojangles Bash Defensive Player of the Game. The Elite High School Basketball Showcase returning next week to Ridgeview High School in Columbia. Bojangles Bash has 11 teams competing, 9 games over 3 days. It includes a number of teams you won't want to miss. Jermaine O'Neal's dynamic prep among them. Tickets and details can be found at bojanglesbash.com. Red Raiders of Bamberg Ehrhardt marching down on the opening drive of the third quarter and extending what was a 1-point lead, now making it an 8-point advantage, and they'll kick this into the end zone for a touchback. So Lamar will bring this one out and get set for their first possession of the third quarter. You look at Lamar, we gave you the numbers at the half, and obviously what they were able to do at the start and end of that first half, the headliners for the crew from the upstate. And here is the Palmetto Pride scoring summary. 5 plays, 57 yards. McMillan with the 20-yard rush to cap it.
I mean, it was just a great drive put together, but look, it's 57 yards. You know, they had a short field to work with, so they didn't have to go that far to score. But, you know, he just used his playmakers, throw the ball, pitch and catch, and then at the end he just said, I just do it myself.
Palmetto Pride providing our scoring summaries. They're keeping South Carolina beautiful as the state's anti-litter organization. And Pierce loads up, fires away. Remember how well this worked into double coverage toward the end of the half, and wanting a flag that time, pleading for one, was Camille McCoy. It never arrived. It's simply incomplete.
Well, it's just great coverage. They didn't really bite. You see him getting back, and he put maybe a little bit more air, but it's just, I mean, he's able to just turn and just run. I mean, that's what he did when he scored the touchdown, and now he come back on defense playing safety to knock one down. I mean, he's just a great athlete, and it's hard to fool great athletes, and if you get them, sometimes they have the ability to make up and catch up.
Tremendous athletes on both sides. A little Ironman football in the Class A title contest tonight. And Pierce, one of the many playing both ways, will call his own number here. He's across 23. Zori Pierce to the 24-yard line. I mentioned it earlier, he's headed to an all-star game. Zori Pierce is a Touchstone Energy Cooperations Bowl all-star selection in this his senior campaign. So there's more football to come in his high school career for one of the tremendous athletes on both sides.
Yes, and it's well deserved. I mean, you look at the stats that he did, and, you know, he's been playing hard, you know, his whole career. And it's just glad that he has one more game that he can play and showcase his talents, that maybe some college coaches can, you know, look at him more and evaluate him more as a player. So, but he's a dynamic athlete.
Yeah, 16 touchdowns through the air, 19 touchdowns on the ground, to his credit, coming in. And he's already added to that total with his work here today. This was troublesome, though. It falls incomplete. And fourth down is coming. Looks like Lamar's going to have to kick it away with 10 minutes to go in the third.
Well, you know, the defense just, you know, just keep staying in there. You know, it's been a little frustrated because they came out and scored, but, you know, let's come back again and just play some tough defense and maybe create a turnover. You know what I'm saying? Do something to get the ball back into the offense's hands, and then they hope they can go down and score again, because it's proven that they can drive 80 and 90 yards and score a touchdown.
Return men right at midfield, just off that South Carolina State logo. And it's going to roll into Red Raiders territory at the 46-yard line. And that's where the crew out of Bamberg will take over. The Bamberg Ehrhardt Red Raiders. And Bamberg, the county seat of the county that bears its name. You think about Francis Marion and the connections there related to the American Revolution, coming up on 250 years next year. One of the prime locations in the state of South Carolina. It certainly is one of the premier football locations as well. Their motto, of course, it's a great day in Bamberg County, and it's a great day when you consider what they're doing on this day, and that's fighting for what would be a third state championship all time. Brian McMillan Jr., one of the main reasons for that. You know, they talked about him, Toby, as he gets stacked up in the middle of the pile after even a busted play gains about 4 or 5, right? He ends up with a positive there. But, you know, the folks around the program singing his praises of what an amazing athlete he is. How hard he'll hit you defensively, how many ways he can beat you offensively.
Yes, I mean, he's just... He has an array of talents, you know what I'm saying, on both sides of the ball. You know, he can come up and hit you, but also he can pick you too. So he can hit and pick. He can throw and run. he can do a lot of things that a lot of people can't do, and that's why he's been blessed to put all these yards. And he has another year. You know, he's come back. He's just a junior, so it's a lot of big plans for this young man that's ahead.
Yeah, that's the difference in him and the guy on the other side. Junior's a junior, therefore he gets another crack at it. You said it, and he's looking for a man near side, and he's got Jordan Bovain, who's going to be down near the 40-yard line on the Lamar side of things. This guy has been in the slot more often than not in this one this time.
I just love his presence. You know, most people just take off running without keeping their eyes down the field. I guess their coaches have taught him well, or he has that about him. Every time he scrambles, his eyes are down the field, which keeps defenders when they come up because they figure they got to come tackle him. He just tosses the ball behind him. This is a young man that takes what you give him, and as long as he keeps doing that, it's hard to stop them when they running that type of offense, and he's making those type of plays and reads.
Just secured another 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. And a lot of movement before this one, and you know how this goes. Everybody points at the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, and our officials will have much to sort out here as the flag comes in with 8:29 to play in the third.
Dead ball, encroach on the defense. Still first down.
By a single point, Bamberg Ehrhardt enjoying its largest lead after stretching a 1-point advantage to an 8-point advantage early third. Looking for more as this will inch them a little closer. 1st and 5 from the 36-yard line this time. Trips to the far side. And right up the middle it goes. McGraw, who already has one touchdown run in this one, he's got a first down run and then some. Takes it into the red zone. That's a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down. It takes it into the Doctor's Implants red zone on a tremendous rush from Jalen McGraw.
I mean, it's just great when you keep worrying about McMillan to run the football. You got to worry about all these weapons that they have thrown this football around, and all of a sudden they just give it to their back, and he just comes, you know, basically up the gut and just power football. And he's just hard to bring down. I mean, he runs so hard. He does a small thing. He blocks. You know what I'm saying? When McMillan runs the football, so he's a guy that you can count on.
McMillan this time is wrestled down to the ground. How about the job that is done there by Big 7-2? That's Devon Locust. He's one of the hearts of that front for Lamar defensively.
Yes, I mean, he had a great season too, you know, 39 total tackles, but 11 tackle for losses. You know, you can see how he just penetrates and gets in the backfield and never quits. And he just keeps coming. He got teammates just coming. And that's what you want, all those black hats and black shirts.
Remember, 145 tackles for loss, 37 sacks, 18 interceptions, 13 fumbles recovered. As a unit, this defense for Lamar makes it all the more impressive what the Red Raiders are doing against the guys in black. Here's another carry for McMillan Jr. He's inside the 15 to the 13. And Toby, that also includes 6 defensive touchdowns for this group. They had 5 pick sixes and a scoop and score. We saw them with a major goal line stand already in this one today. So I'll say it, you tip your cap to the Red Raiders for what they're doing against one of the stingiest defenses of late. Since their early trouble and they figured it all out across the 11-game winning streak, Lamar has been solid defensively.
I mean, that's what it takes. You know, they got that all 11 hats to the ball. You know, just take care of your responsibility and do what you're supposed to do, and we'll handle the rest. And that's what, you know, Coach talk about, not having dirty eyes, looking in the backfield, not doing those things, just doing all the things that you're supposed to do.
Third
Staying
down,
at home.
running it himself as McMillan Jr., and he's going to take it all the way in. How about this carry? That play looked to be busted. It appeared as if Lamar had everything covered, and Brian McMillan Jr. said, that's okay, I'll take it from here.
But I think it's, you know, what's been happening before. I think a couple plays ago we talked about how he scrambled and he throws the football. And now he's scrambling again. Now the cornersback can't leave their receiver because they think he may throw the ball to him, and by the time they come up, it's too late, and he just walks in the end zone.
Keep in mind that was a third down turn touchdown for Brian McMillan Jr. One of the best playmakers in the state of South Carolina, reminding you why as he gives Bamberg Ehrhardt its largest lead. Red Raiders now find themselves up 28-13. One more look at the touchdown run from Brian McMillan Jr. He and the Red Raiders trying to pull away here in the middle stages. of the third quarter in the Class A title game. Happy to have you with us as we close in on 6 p.m. at the South Carolina State Championships. A reminder, in each of these games, we will have the Stanley Law Group Player of the Game selected before the end of the contest. Your injury law professionals, Stanley Law Group, sponsors of our Player of the Game. Happy to have you with us for the Class A Championship game. Our broadcast presented, as always, by A&I Fire and Water Restoration, as we are set for the preferred appliance kickoff following the latest touchdown from the Red Raiders of Bamberg Ehrhardt. And this becomes an important drive, Toby, for Lamar now as they're trying to avoid allowing the Red Raiders to run off and hide.
Absolutely. But it's not a do and dive drive. You know, you still got, 6 minutes in this quarter. And, we've seen what they can do, in a short period of time, move down the field. But it's very important that you can move the ball and at least get some establishment to put them in a bad position to score.
We just saw what the Red Raiders can do to the tune of 6 plays, 54 yards, and the last 13 of it, McMillan Jr.'s run to push the advantage to 28-13. Remember, this was a 14-13 contest at the break, so that Palmetto Pride summary reminding you just how good the work has been for Bamberg Ehrhardt in this third quarter thus far. Does Lamar have an answer up across the 25 to the 27? You like the fight in that rush?
Yeah, I like the fight. I think we tell you about it at halftime. We start talking about what can they do. I think put the ball in somebody else's hands. That way you have some play action. You have some different things, that you can use off of it, setting up other plays that you have. So, looking like, that's what they're doing. They're going back to the basics.
Nigel Eady, he's never carried the ball right at double-digit carries, and he's just over 50 yards, trying to change all that as he gets a couple of cracks at it here. Nigel Eady having his name called once more. Guess what? He's got a 1-800-GOT-JUMP first down on this carry.
It's just a great job. He just followed behind his blockers. He's a hard-nosed young man. And that's what they do. But see, now you're building something. You can build play action. You can do bootlegs. You got waggles. You got certain things to come. You got the GT with the guard and the tackle pulling off the main side. So, they're setting up something, hopefully along the way that they can use and be able to go down the field and maybe get a touchdown.
Opening up the playbook. We just told you 10 carries for Eady. You saw his real-time numbers, and he continues to drive forward to right at the 40-yard line. Lamar's squad, we told you in the first half, but for those of you who weren't with us, under the direction of Tyler Boyd. He's a first-year head coach, but he's familiar to the community. He's the son of J.R. Boyd, who led this team to 3 straight titles in 02, 03, 04. Tyler Boyd played for him a little later on, beyond those 2002, 2003, and 2004 championships. He played both baseball, football for Dad, and they talk about how similar these two are, similar in style, but maybe he's a little more laid back than the intense nature of J.R. Boyd. That intensity, of course, leading to that trio of championships in the early 2000s. It's a great history for Lamar, and it's a great family history for the Boyds being a part of it as well.
It has to be great. My son actually played for me, so I know how it is, with being on the dad side anyway. And plus the son, it's just memories that you can create in this. You can go and talk about it, a little bit longer. The whole family involved, the mother who is your wife, the sisters, the brothers. It's just a great, affair, and it's a great thing just to have when you got family involved.
The relationships are what it's all about, and it's a coaching family through and through. Of course, JR's brother, Dean Boyd, at York, and also family connections in the AD department up there at York. So, so many that have been a part of that family that have made their mark on the state of South Carolina. Says something, though, Tyler Boyd bringing this group here in his first year at the helm of this program.
And that's very hard. As any coach would ever tell you, for you to go into a program and just bring it to a championship in the first year, it's just very hard. But he set a standard for himself. In the first year you come back, they figure every year you're going to have to come back to the state championship.
Set the bar high, young man. Big fourth down call for he and his staff here, and they will make the right one. Fourth down conversion. Make it a 1-800-GOT-JUMP movement of the chains as they decide to stick with the main playmaker. He ducks his head low, and you can move the chains.
Yeah, so it's just a great call. It's just a power game. He's supposed to go deep right, but he just found a crease. You need 1 yard. Like some people try to break it and go 7 yards. You need 1 yard. Make sure you claim the first yard first, so that way we can keep this drive going.
Matched his number. Needed that one. Got a whole lot more than it. The guy who's number 1 in the program, number 1 in the hearts, as they often say of the fans there, Zori Pierce. goes to work with a first down play. This one incomplete. Or Zori Pierce, we were told by the staff, so crucial for the success of this team on both sides of the football. A guy with a couple of offers to play at the next level as well. That's the case for both of our quarterbacks in this one. And he's led this team, Coach Boyd's team, to the first state championship opportunity since 2018. They're looking to claim the first title since 2017. Is Lamar. A little bit of trouble with the snap, and just covering it up is Pierce. Heads up play to make sure no further damage on that.
Yes, I mean, sometimes you just gotta, you just gotta take what they give you instead of picking the ball up and throwing the ball wildly, you know, and you may end up with a pick, and then the game could definitely get out of hand. So it's just being a smart player. You know, you're being smart players a lot of ways, and it's just being smart when you know that the situation did persist itself.
It is an 11-yard loss, and it's going to be third down, and as we say in these parts, a country mile. They got to get all the way to the 41-yard line on the other side of the field in order to move the chains.
I would just probably call something safe here. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to take a real deep shot, especially when you got 8 back there as a ball hawk. So if something break down, he can take off running.
Well, he looked like he was going to fire it deep. And how about the strength he showed there? Didn't really get to load up and set his feet, but still had plenty on it, though it's incomplete near side. And fourth down's coming. Lamar, you would think, is about to kick it away.
Yes, I mean, that's just the smartest thing to do. It's kick it away and just play great defense. You get the ball back. I mean, it's 3:07 still left in the third quarter. This is not at the end of the game. So you don't have to take risks and do things. Make your own risk, you know, make your own time with your own players.
You said earlier you felt like Pierce maybe was not completely 100% with some of the body language you're watching. Here's another evidence of it as he fills up your screen.
Yes, I watched him kind of earlier during the game, and I seen him limping, and then I seen him pull something. I looked on his leg, and he had a brace. So it reminds me of a similar image. You know, I had, you know, problems with my knee, so I kind of can sense that. And I watched him, and it's just like he's limping the whole time, but you can tell when he has to make a burst, he makes a burst.
You also had some similar challenges that these two teams know a little bit about with Central and beyond, right?
Absolutely.
In terms of your playing days, getting right there in the battle for a state championship and your time at Chapman.
Yeah, it's just great. And now, you know, I'm married into the Paisley family.
How about that? Funny how it all works out.
It's funny how it works out, but, you know, I just love it. And, you know, we actually played Lamar when I was in high school, and they was a great team, great physical team, too. But it's all those careers and all those games, you know, going back, it's just great memories.
Well, and that's what these young men are experiencing today, a chance to be a part of a state championship environment. And we don't say it enough. You're an upper state champion or a lower state champion to get here, one or the other.
One or the
other.
other.
A championship in order to play for the outright title in the state championship environment. It's been a tremendous season for these two. Timeout being called for by Bamberg Ehrhardt. You may have also noticed the upper state teams are wearing the home colors this year. They are the designated home teams. So Lamar out of the upper state, the designated home teams in this one. That will be the case across the course of the weekend. 3 games today, 3 games tomorrow. Oceanside Collegiate claiming a championship earlier today against an impressive BHP team that rolled through the upstate, and Oceanside continuing to write a tremendous story of what they've done. We got Northwestern and Irmo and a rematch a little later tonight, and then a full day of football tomorrow. Toby, it's a dream. It's a feast for fans of high school football.
Absolutely. You know, like I said, and I posted that. It's just great games. It's making me stay after this game and watch, you know, some of the next game and come in a little bit earlier tomorrow.
Yes.
Because I got friends and family involved on both sides of the ball, so I got to come a little bit earlier tomorrow and support that. And then we're going to do, you know, the game at 4 o'clock, and then I may stay a little bit to catch the end of that game. So it's a lot of things that's going on, and as a football fan, you know, and I love that I can watch football, and if I don't have the dog in the fight, it doesn't matter. I just love watching good football.
Well, and as you said just a moment ago, the most important thing, the memories that will last a lifetime for these communities and these young men. Red Raiders back to work up near the 29-yard line, and you know it. People still come up to you on the street today and talk about what happened decades ago in these high school football games and certainly in the championship environments. It is a memory that people take with them for generations. They pass them down from one to the next, and it's our pleasure to have you with us for these state championship broadcasts here on the Sinclair family of networks. Second down coming from the 30-yard line. Who's going to make that latest memory? Will it be Bamberg Ehrhardt Will it be Lamar finding a way here in the second half? Bamberg Ehrhardt with the momentum now. The Red Raiders keep it in the interior up across the 30 to the 32. That's going to be near first down yardage.
It looks like it's probably a little short, but
maybe third and short.
Yeah, well, to put yourself in a position that you can go for it on fourth down. I mean, you know, so I mean, 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s. Put yourself in a position as a coach. You say, hey, we're gonna win it here right now. We're gonna make a statement here. But you could probably have 2 downs to get 1 yard. So you built like you've been doing things all year long. So. And with a great quarterback and a great running back, I mean, I would take my chances.
Bamberg Ehrhardt keeping it on the ground, also making sure that clock keeps rolling as we wind down toward the final minute and a half of the 3rd quarter. They will on 3rd down give it off. And how about that second effort? Enough to fall forward for the first down. A 1-800-GOT-JUNK movement of the chains.
I mean, that's what they play. That's that tough football. Sometimes you don't have to have the big plays or the long runs. It's the tough runs. You know, it's the inside runs. It's the you know, you come behind your guard, your tackle. It's just mano-a-mano and just run hard, lower your pass, like coaches say, run. You know, lower your pass, and that's what he did. He just lowered his pass and it kept his legs turned. You know, that's a different thing. He don't have legs just stop. He just keep churning.
Jalen McGraw, who's had a good night, already has a touchdown up over 40 yards on the ground as well. This is tossed out near side. That's going to be good to cross the 40-yard line to the 41. That was Jordan Beauvain. Called his name a lot in this one, but he's another one of those key wide receivers in the stable for the Red Raiders.
I mean, you know, like I said, they got a stable. They had over 5 that average over 20 yards per catch. But
say that again.
They had 5 that average over 20 yards per catch.
Just remarkable.
Yes, it's just unbelievable. But what I'm seeing right now is I'm starting to see like maybe a tired Lamar defense. You know, they got the hands on the hips, you know, doing everything. They're playing a hard-fought game, but I know they still got a lot of fight in them, and then they're not stopping. They're just taking what they give you, and they're just throwing the ball out, and they're trying to set you up for some things to get an easy score, but Lamar's still playing back and not going for it, making you throw the ball early, and then we come up and make these tackles.
And that's Jalen McGraw again making the catch. That's another 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down, maybe the last one of the football game, as it may bring the 3rd quarter to a close here, and we will work our way into the 4th. We'll see if they decide to run another play. Just 10 and ticking downward on the game clock, but this is a Bamberg Ehrhardt team looking like the group that steamrolled through the regular season. They're playing with the same kind of gusto that kick-started this undefeated campaign. Can they finish a perfect campaign? We'll find out on the other side of the break. 4th quarter coming up in the Class A championship game. Our broadcast presented by A&I Fire and Water Restoration continues right after these messages. We welcome you back with our Jim Hudson Automotive 3rd quarter stats. Jim Hudson Automotive, experience it once, you'll never forget it. This has been a night no one on either side will ever forget. What do you take away from the numbers?
You know, at halftime, Lamar had more yards. Now we're looking at Bamberg has really turned it on. You know, 211 yards passed, 114. I mean, they just keep doing their thing. They keep on rolling.
The top-ranked team in Class A, leading at 28-13 as we put the final 12 minutes of the football season in the Class A ranks up on the scoreboard here at South Carolina State's Oliver C. Dawson Stadium. In the first play of the 4th quarter, McMillan Jr. tosses this out far side. That's incomplete. Hit the ground before it reached Charles Anthony Williams.
Yes, but it still was great play design, something they've been running the whole time. That ball's up and he catches it. He got a lot of room, you know what I'm saying, to run in front of him. So, but for Lamar's sake, glad the pass wasn't complete.
Yeah, worked out well for the Silver Foxes. They're wanting to try and turn things here in the 4th quarter. Remember the way they bookended the first half. Touchdown on their first extended drive. Ate up nearly half the 1st quarter. And a touchdown on their final drive of the 2nd quarter. But nothing in this 3rd period. Entering the 4th, needing a little bit of a spark if they're going to hang around in the Class A title game. This sealed off, and how about the Lamar D? We were talking earlier about how many tackles for loss, how many sacks, how many key moments there have been. And Edie, whose name we've called so much offensively, now with a defensive moment here, Toby.
I mean, it's just great relentless pressure. You know, you still got these guys that say they're not going to give up. You know, no matter what the score is, no matter what, we got enough fight in us. And this young man right here especially, you know, still I think he has to be more involved in the offense side of the ball. I know he's playing a lot on defense, but as long as you can use him and fake the ball and go one way and do some different things, setting up some keys, I think they could be successful.
Tackle for loss when they had to have it as they swallow up the QB. And now looking for a deep shot near side. Defender is there, wrestling for the catch and coming away with it somehow is Jackson Humans. How about this? Humans going to come out of there with the football, and that's among the catches of the night.
I mean, it's just a great throw. He scrambles to eliminate pressure, throws it up. Again, it's about just giving your receiver a chance, and he's like a ball hawk back there. He plays defense too. He just comes inside and undercuts the guy and just makes a great catch.
You know, for a moment it looked like it might be picked. Instead, Humans wrestles it away, and that's an Ed Venture Play of the Game nominee. As just when it appeared Lamar might be able to get off the field and flip things, a Stewart Law Office's first down as the Red Raiders knocking on the door of the Doctor's Implants Red Zone. And here's McMillan Jr. You know, this a Bamberg team, Toby, only one team had played them within 15 points this season. So when they were trailing in the fourth quarter against Cross 26-22 late in the game last week, you know, the word gut check really summed it up well in a lot of the stories that were written about them, including the one on South Carolina's famed high school sports report this week. They answered the bell, came away with the drive they needed in order to earn their trip to the championship round, and boy, have they embraced it.
And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's a wake-up call. You know, you need somebody to push your buttons and need somebody to fight you back sometimes. You know, when you're just pushing everybody around and doing different things, but when you get somebody else to hit you back, it really shows what type of person, how much fight do you have in it.
And Coach Crosby and his staff talking about how much respect they have for Cross and Sean Wright, the program that exists there, and how much it took for them to come out on top in that contest. And now they find themselves entering the fourth with the lead, looking for more. But Lamar's not going quietly defensively here.
No, they keep bringing pressure, and they did a great job on the back end of covering up. So once again, you know, you make McMillan actually run the football, you know what I'm saying, make him use his legs and do different things, but you had some linebackers that were spying on him and bringing constant heat.
This Lamar team that had a goal line stand earlier in the contest, trying to make an adjustment on this, but the footing can be a little tough at times. You know, this field drains well. It's a turf, but it's been a steady rain throughout the day, overnight last night and throughout the day. To make those type of cuts on adjustments sometimes becomes difficult.
Definitely, and the throw, you know, different ball, but it was just a great throw down there. But, you know, his gloves could have been slippery, you know, lights in his eyes, anything happened, but still, we would come back. You have to make that catch.
There are very few times in this game McMillan Jr. has not been on target.
Yes, like I say, you have to make that catch. But, you know, it's not nothing that you fuss about. You put it down, and, you know, and you fight to live for another down.
This is a huge fourth down to keep hope alive for Lamar, down a couple of scores here. Red Raiders going for the end zone. That's tipped up, and trying for the second effort as he turned around was Charles Anthony Williams. It will fall incomplete. It will be Lamar football, and the Silver Foxes, Toby, after this stop, are not done just yet.
Right, that's right, you know.
Got a hand on it.
It's just a great hand, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It's about timing, you know. Camille McCoy just made a great play on the ball. You know, in the play before that, when they got the big play, they didn't make the big play, so the receiver made the great play. So it just shows how these two teams with these athletes can make play after play after play and come back.
And what's beautiful about it in Class A and our men football, McCoy's not going anywhere. No. Now he'll line up at wide receiver. That's his role on the other side of the ball. Here we go with 9:13 to play. Lamar needing a couple of scores here. He doesn't leave the field either, does he? McMillan Jr. finds his spot in the secondary for the Red Raiders.
He's the signal caller on offense, and he's the signal caller in the secondary, too.
What they say, been impressed with how he will put a lick on you when needed from time to time. This is tossed on downfield, and trying to make the adjustment on the offensive side was McCoy this time, but that sailed wide of everybody. Little slow to get up. You've mentioned how shaken up he has seemed from time to time, and this is the slowest today regarding Zori Pierce getting back to his feet, and the training staff out there One time too many in this state game.
Yes, I mean, he's just trying to make a play for his team, and then he gets tackled, you know what I'm saying? Two people actually hit him, and, you know, he just falls down. But he's been working hard and going hard all night. You know, he's been limping, but I don't think you're going to see the last of this guy. You know, he's going to fight to the very end. He's going to keep coming back. He's just a playmaker on the field and at heart.
And the Touchstone Energy Cooperative Bowl All-Star selection, who's given his all to this team to the tune of 1,800 plus yards through the air and 16 touchdowns, with now 20 rushing touchdowns on the year, including the couple he has here today, 21 of them now to be specific, and no doubt he'll be back. 2nd down and 10 for his crew, though, as the field general is off the field for the moment. 9:05, this is a critical drive for Lamar.
Yes, you know, now we get to see the backup quarterback, and that's what happens when you put somebody who hasn't taken a snap. Probably, you know what I'm saying, in a minute, there's some communication. Sometimes, you know, people jump off sides because they're used to different cadence and different things. So the rhythm is not quite there, but hopefully they can get some things going and muster a drive.
Jalen Morris being put in at the quarterback position. Morris, who we told you defensively, guy who had an interception return for touchdown, one of the 4 interceptions he secured as a free safety on this squad over the course of the season. He's in a prime spot now on the offensive side, behind the sticks on 3rd down. Trying to toss this underneath, won't happen, as he is swallowed up and sacked. And on the pursuit, Darren Carter, he's the first guy on the scene.
Yes, Big Carter, he come through, but, you know, the inexperience at quarterback they have right now, I mean, he just have to make some plays and just throw the ball in the stands, you know, instead of putting yourself in the thing. But Mr. Carter has had a great senior year, and he's just, you know, he's been dominating and putting pressure in the backfield. That's what you need to help win the championship.
Saw the vitals on the nose tackle for this Red Raiders D. You know, for all the talk about the explosive nature of the Red Raiders offense, this is the defense hadn't allowed that much this year either.
No, not much many points at all. And we talked about it. 95 total yards a game is what they was allowing, you know what I'm saying, throughout the season. So, I mean, they're very stingy, and they play hard as a unit. So it's been really great to finally see this defense that they've been talking about, to see them perform, you know, pretty well on the field.
Yeah, and this is a group that rolled through a highly competitive lower state bracket, and they hold a 28-13 lead with 7:40 to play. Much more of our coverage of the Class A state championship game presented by A&I Fire and Water Restoration right after this.
You know, at the end, just give me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't want all the pie. Just give me a little piece of it. Just give me this. Give me some crumbs. Some people want the crumbs. They want to be able to touch the ball just in small situations and just make their presence known that they're here to help their team win in any way.
Now, everybody's been a contributor on the Red Raiders side of things. Both these teams giving you everything they have in the Class A title game, because you got to remember, this is one of those games where very rarely do the athletes leave the field. They're playing both ways. Back out there, Brian McMillan Jr., he fakes short, going to go long. He's got a man in behind the defense. The catch is made, and that's another impressive touchdown. This catch from Charles Anthony Williams, a Palmetto Bath TD, which may be the exclamation point at 7:22 to go in the game.
Yes, I mean, like I say, sometimes they've been setting up things. They've been throwing to stop, and then even with pressure, he still kept his eyes down the field, and he just took off and scored. It's I say amazing offense to stop. You got too many weapons. And this young man, I've been watching him all night long. When he touched the ball, you see a flash, a burst. You know, he has a burst, and he just went past him. This is a great throw on the money like he's been all night long, and it's another touchdown.
Boy, the deliveries from Brian McMillan Jr. just continue to impress you, and you said it, the receivers and the adjustments they can make. In the case of Charles Anthony Williams here, officials talking things over just a little bit ahead of the extra point try that would be in an effort to make it 35-13. Remember, this was a 14-13 contest at the intermission. So the second half has belonged to Bamberg Ehrhardt. They're going to have to talk things over with both coaches. Coming near side now to explain to Tyler Boyd. Did you see anything specific here?
I was thinking Coach Boyd may think that he scored. And if he didn't score, he got the penalty. They would move the ball back, you know, and take the points off the board. But if he did score, I don't see what
The touchdown is good.
Well, there's the confirmation.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. It'll be enforced on the kickoff.
So it was after the play. It's a dead ball foul, and it'll be enforced on the kick. Here's another look at the touchdown catch, a thing of beauty.
Yeah, so say, it's again, they have done a great job of setting people up. You know, they kept running stops, and then they fake stop and just go up top. So, hey, you know, great job to their coaching staff by using plays off of it.
Two parts of that right there, Toby. Not only the catch, but then to turn his body the way Charles Anthony Williams did in order to find the end zone. Even more special. Extra point is true. It's punched up and through by Charles Breland, who has taken care of business. The junior kicker, Charles Breland, remains on target, and Bamberg Ehrhardt remains on target for a Class A title with 7:22 to play. Let's see if they can finish it off. By A&I Fire and Water Restoration across the course of this championship weekend. 3 more tomorrow. Make plans to join us. The games are high noon, 4 o'clock, and 7:30. Both days on South Carolina's Weekend of Champions. Getting set for a Preferred Appliance kickoff. Preferred Appliance, your trusted appliance sales and repair experts. They've been the sponsors of our kickoffs throughout. This one's coming from the 25-yard line following the unsportsmanlike penalty after the touchdown, which was assessed Bamberg Ehrhardt. Top-ranked team in the state in Class A, in command now in this fourth quarter, and they've owned the second half, and here is a coverage moment they will relish. How about the hit that was placed here by the coverage team? Really nice job by Jordan Williams, a junior, who comes up and makes the stop.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're setting the tone, and it's just great. You know, nobody blocked him. He come in, didn't stop his feet. He just basically ran through the guy. That's what you want as defense. If you're not starting on one way, this is the way you can get on the field and still contribute to your team.
Palmetto Pride scoring summary. Only a single play needed, right? 27 yards, and Williams on that 27-yard reception. And a Palmetto Pride scoring summary. Charles Anthony Williams getting the job done. Palmetto Pride keeping South Carolina beautiful as the state's anti-litter organization. Palmetto Pride sponsoring all of our drive summaries, our scoring summaries along the way in this one. Flag comes down with 7:16 to play.
It's a good thing to see Mr. Pierce back.
On the offense, still first down.
And that'll back Lamar up just a bit. Toby, you were going right where everybody's mind is right now, and after Pierce left a little shaken up and did not return in that most recent drive, it's good to see the Lamar QB back out there.
It's just great to see him back. You don't want to see him end his career or anything like that. You know, greatest career as he's had, you know, you want him to finish up the game.
And a lot of football left in this one. Another flag to sort out
Dead
here.
ball, illegal snap on the offense. Still first down.
And Lamar heading the wrong way all of a sudden on these last couple of snaps. Let's glance ahead just a moment. How about Northwestern and Irmo in the rematch tonight? What are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking for, you know, some great offense and some hard-nosed defense. I think once you get those two schools together like that, I think it's just going to be a great fun game like it was last year. I think it was, you know, they won by 3 and kicked the field goal at the very end of the game. I can see the same thing happening again. I think teams are familiar with each other, and both of them had a great season going this year, and I just think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, game was tied up with 1:43 to play. Matthew Fish kicked a field goal with no time left from 27 yards out to give Northwestern its championship. And Trojans trying to repeat. One of 4 teams down here this weekend looking to repeat. 4 return champions have a chance to do just that. And there are 3 straight rematches, including the 2 nightcaps, which feature Northwestern and Irmo and Dutch Fork and Somerville in the 5A classification. You know, this was a game, Abbeville obviously winning this one against that cross team that Bamberg Ehrhardt went through to get here a year ago. So this is a game that featured 2 new teams this time around, but not new to the football landscape. 2 historic powers in South Carolina have battled it out.
That's right. You know, that's what you get. You know, it's tradition that lives. You know, you got guys that's played in that championship, and even the guys who didn't play for a state championship. You know, Bamberg is not just a run-over team. Lamar is not the team that you want to schedule, just put on your schedule and say that you want to play them. These are two things that you do not want to do.
We know what it means to these communities. How about Pierce right up the middle? He slides down after picking up the Stewart Law Office's first down. Moved the chains on a third down conversion. Lamar still fighting just as you would expect them to be. They got some work to do here, but with 5:54 to play, Pierce is back out there and he has them on the march again.
Yes, I mean, and that's what it takes. Like I say, he started the season with him. He started his whole career, you know, basically with this team. He said, you know, I'm just not going to let you down. I'm going to will myself to come out here and do the best that I can. Even if it's with one leg, I'm going to do the best I can to help us win this ball game.
He gets this to DQ Green. DQ Green, a guy who had 19 catches, 338 yards, and a touchdown coming in addition to all the good work he does in the secondary. He has 4 of the 6 defensive touchdowns this year for this squad. You know, he being involved in the game plan all of a sudden, a big lift for this squad.
Yes, I mean, everybody know how good he is on defense. You know, he's
4. I'll say it again. 4 of the 6 defensive touchdowns there he is,
and 17 tackles for loss. I mean, he's an active player offensively and defense. But to see him, you know, get involved in this game on the offense side of the ball is just awesome.
How about loading up, firing toward the end zone, and that just was a little defense being played that time by Juju Morris. He couldn't get to it. Wanted to make sure that the defender was unable to as well. It's incomplete. Third down coming again. Remember, Pierce rushed it on the last third down, and Toby, you can see what a warrior he is. Pierce visibly bothered by the injury that kept him sidelined during that last drive, but he is still out there. Same thing can be said for Juju Morris. A couple of guys who have had to come off the field at times tonight, but are still in there battling for their team.
Yes, it's great. And at the end of that play, too, just showing great sportsmanship. You know, after the play was incomplete, I could see him just hanging around and, you know, and gave the Bamberg defender, you know what I'm saying, just foul, like, hey, man, you know, didn't catch it. But, I mean, it's just great to see great sportsmanship, man, you know, in a game that you know you're not going to win. It's very easy to go out there and lose your head and do something. But it's just great that, you know, Coach Boyd has this team under wraps.
Absolutely. You saw Edie there pick up the Stewart Law Office's first down, and then one of those linemen down. What can you say about the work this line has done? Messiah Symes, Terrence Goodson, Roy Vest, Tom Kotko. It's been an impressive group, the job they have done up front just to make some space for these backs and give Pierce a chance. Again, Messiah Symes, Travion Goodson, Roy Vest, and Tom Kotko, the guys doing good work up front, alongside Devon Locust, who we've talked a little bit about, who also plays on both lines. Those guys have really been warriors in there tonight for Lamar. And one of those linemen a little shaken up at the moment, and the training staff, the busy training staff in this one for Lamar, back out there again to tend to it. The guys in the trenches, they don't get a lot of love, but they're still where the game's won and lost.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, without an offensive line, you have nothing. You know, you show one team quarterback can just drop back and just throw the ball. Receiver can get open without any blocking. Is, you know, all hats go off to all offensive linemen, even though you may not get all the credit or do whatever. People know when games are won according to how good your offensive line or your defensive line.
So again, plenty of appreciation to Messiah Symes for Travion Goodson, Roy Vest, Tom Kotko, and Devon Locust, who've handled those responsibilities. Of course, he's got a pretty good line offensively and defensively on his side. Pierce Fuller, Jaden Moody, Michael Manigault, Savion Bamberg, and Simeon Bamberg, the Bamberg cousins, appropriately named, right? They hold the town name there. Right. The group that's been doing good work up front across the course of the night for Bamberg Ehrhardt. Kudos to all those guys on the offensive lines on both sides. And it looks like the training staff is working to get the latest of the injured Silver Foxes up to his feet, which will be met with applause from fans on both sides. You hope there are going to be no lingering effects on some of these injuries we've seen tonight. Blocked off here, but it appears that young man maybe sitting up there. See the kind of the back of a helmet through there. He is sitting up and now going to be brought to his feet. So good sign there.
Yes.
As 55 works his way to his feet. That, of course, Katko, one of those names we mentioned a moment ago, Tom Katko, being tended to and helped off the field here. Certainly hope he's able to put a little more pressure than he's able to right now on that right leg.
I hope that the trainers get over there and, you know, massage it, maybe retape it, do some things like that. And sometimes with the tape that you have on, maybe, you know, be too tight or something, just get it off and add some new tape and get some pressure and kind of move it around.
Well, they do not grab the headlines, but those guys in the trenches and the fight they put up makes high school football what it is.
Absolutely.
Our cap certainly tipped their direction. Here's the first down play. Stewart Law Office's first down for number 1. Pierce stood in there, took the lick, and was able to deliver it. And how about the job? You know, a little bit of a whirling dervish there all of a sudden as he spins in trouble, out of trouble, and works his way to the 15-yard line. This was a not be denied effort from Robert Cooper. How about the tight end, Robert Cooper? He's a 9th grader. Watch him battle here.
Hey, that's what you got to do. You got to use all your players, like I say. This is going to linger in his memory, you know, of making plays, you know what I'm saying, basically as a freshman. You know, he's a very talented young man. He's working hard. He's not giving up. I mean, he's trying his best to get in that end zone.
So Robert Cooper moves the chains with the Stewart Law Office's first down. The young tight end having his state championship moment. 4 and change left to go. And all kind of whistles ahead of this snap. Well, this is a game.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, still first down.
Stranger things have happened than a handful of scores in the last few minutes of a game, but there's a hill to climb for Lamar.
Yes.
Trying to take the first step that direction, but backed up a little more to first down and 15 after the penalty. Latest of the Doctor's Implants red zone chances, empowering people through full mouth dental implants. That's Doctor's Implants, sponsors of our red zone tonight. That's another toss for Robert Cooper. How about that? Cooper coming alive on this drive. The grader takes it inside 3:35 to go.
He's just creating memories, and then, you know, he's going to go tell the other guys, hey, as a freshman, I was doing this and in this game and trying to help us win. And then that's going to be that building block.
Yep, something to build on for the future. You're absolutely right, Toby. Caught, working his way between the 2 defenders to thread the needle and find pay dirt. How about this for Juju Morris? What a tough night it's been at times for number 3 from an injury standpoint earlier, but he's got a positive memory with a Palmetto Bath touchdown right here.
I mean, it's just great. You know, bobble snap, just throw the ball. Great hands, great concentration, people in your thing, and just catch it and just score. And, you know, like I said before, great sportsmanship. You know, he could have acted crazy or did some type of dance, but hey, he just get the ball and give it to the referee and get on the sideline, get your hugs and kisses and thank yous and keep it moving.
Certain respect for the game of football you have to love. Palmetto Bath touchdown. Palmetto Bath, beautiful tub and shower remodels. They serve Columbia, Greenville, and Asheville. You can learn more at palmettobath.com. And Isaiah Chacon and company. 3:17 to play, had been so good in this one today from an extra point standpoint. How about the connection from Pierce to Morris, 2 warriors on the Lamar side of things, and they follow it up by adding a little more. So all of a sudden 35-21 here, Toby. We said it, stranger things have happened, and Lamar's still battling. The question is going to become, do they have enough possessions left to get the job done?
Yes, you know, that's just a hard feat, but anything can happen. I mean, you know, get an onside kick right here, or just fumble the ball or throw a pick or do anything. I don't think they weren't going to throw many balls, but still, anything can happen. Like you said, stranger things have happened.
A couple of timeouts remaining on both sides. You can see, based upon the score bug there, as we play in the 4th quarter with 3:17 to play, and talked about the need for effectiveness from this young man a moment ago. So much of it going to rest on the leg of Isaiah Chacon, who's been good across the course of the season for this group. Can he find a way to get the football back for Lamar? 3:17 to go. You're going to get a good run and start at it, that's for sure. And Chacon end over end with this, and it's covered up. by Raheem Walker. Walker, who had his moments in all three phases tonight, right? Defensively, we called his name. He had the 79-yard touchdown reception earlier, which put Bamberg Ehrhardt on the board to begin with. And here he covers up the potential onside that will get the football back for the Red Raiders. Here's the 9-play, 63-yard drive capped off by the connection from Pierce to Mars. That's our Palmetto Pride scoring summary on that Lamar drive.
That's just great. You found two players that went out with injuries. Both of them came back and connected. And very well could be the last touchdown, you know what I'm saying,
of the year
for Lamar, And the two guys that got hurt to come back and actually score maybe the last touchdown. Again, that's a build. That's something that you could build upon next year to say, hey, these guys played to the very end, and we had to carry them off the field.
Well, and in the case of Pierce, finds himself in his senior campaign, some more football in front of him, as we said, from an all-star standpoint, and for Morris, a senior as well, perhaps one of the last memories, one of the great duos will leave with one of the great football communities of all time, because although it's trending as if it's not going to be their night tonight, think about Lamar and the Boyd family, as we said, the championships in 02, 03, 04, the three in a row, the three-peat. Then they won in 15 and 17, played for it in 18. Now back in the state championship environment here in 2025, and they've come in bunches for Lamar over the years, so this could be the first of many for Coach Boyd and company.
On the offense. Still second down.
The false start against the Red Raiders will back them up a bit. And, this came in the first year for Tyler Boyd as the head coach. So we'll see what the rest of his tenure holds as the Boyd family back at the helm of this Lamar program. And you know what that's meant in positive ways for it over the years. This one trending toward the Red Raiders of Bamberg Ehrhardt. And they control it now with 2:20 and ticking downward. And we'll keep it on the ground, second down. Going to be McGraw. He's had some tremendous runs tonight. In fact, McGraw right at 50 yards on the ground with 8 touches of the football, and he has a rushing touchdown. McMillan Jr., 2 rushing touchdowns. They've been the weapon, the duo on the ground, and then he's thrown for a couple to Walker and Charles Anthony Williams. Raheem Walker and Charles Anthony Williams receiving TDs. A balanced attack for Bamberg Ehrhardt, Toby.
Yeah, basically, we've seen it all year long. When we looked at the stats, things that jumped out. But, we're running the football and throwing the football and spreading around the different weapons, And like I said, at the end, I'm just loving the class that I'm seeing with, a couple of these guys are giving handshakes and giving each other 5 and doing things like that. I think that's how the game should be played. Even if it's out of hand with you, you got to show some respect for the game of football and integrity for your community.
You love the way these players have performed. Good transition to our player of the game. Will not be a surprise who the Stanley Law Group player of the game is going to be in this one. Brian McMillan Jr., effective on the ground, on target through the air. He was the leader that Red Raiders fans expected him to be.
Well, he did the same thing he's been doing all year long. 275 yards, 2 TDs, 49 rush yards, and 2 rush TDs. This young man has been scoring touchdowns all year with 64 already, and just add to his collection.
Our Stanley Law Group player of the game is the QB. And by the way, also the DB. A little Ironman football for Brian McMillan Jr. Following in the footsteps, you got it, as well, older as well. Following in the footsteps of his tremendous father, a multi-sport athlete there at Bamberg Ehrhardt, and certainly giving another memory from the McMillan family. Brian McMillan Jr. now inside a minute away from leading his team to, let's not let it go by without underscoring this piece of it, Toby. What's going to be an undefeated season for the Red Raiders?
Hey, that's the hardest thing. No slip-ups, no nothing, no blemishes, nothing, on their record. They did how they're supposed to do it, and they were undefeated the whole season, and it shows, this team has really been built to do that.
Let's take a look at the first score of the game. It stands as our play of the game. It answered a 7-0 lead through 1 quarter of action that Lamar held. And it was Raheem Walker, 79 yards later, the Adventure Children's Museum play of the game. Equalized for the #1 team in the state. They really haven't looked back since. Now holding a 35-21 advantage. Congratulations to Raheem Walker. This connection from Brian McMillan Jr. serving as our Adventure Children's Museum play of the game. Second down from just shy of the 50-yard line, and the Flags are going to have to come in here with a little early movement ahead of the second down play.
The offense, still second down.
Well, they're so excited. They're moving a little early here, ready to get this thing finished up. For Bamberg Ehrhardt, we said it, the community set to celebrate an unblemished championship run. It's going to be the first championship since '90. It's going to be the third all-time for a group that won one in the 60s, won one in the 1990s, and now we'll have one in the new millennium here. And they will have done it in a year where very few even played them close. And this may be that final impact moment that will allow them to celebrate the entire town having made the trip up from Bamberg, the Gatorade bath having been provided, and another moment for Jalen McGraw, who's had so many tonight. And boy, they begin to celebrate with Coach Corey Crosby and what a job he's done. You know, a couple of decades there, Toby.
Yes.
On site. He now will have a championship moment to go with it in this, his 5th year as the head man. And boy, a perfect season, something that you never forget.
Definitely something you never forget. You know, if you had won it in 13-1, I don't think you'd ever forget it. But unblemished, you know, you can't say, anybody can say, well, we beat y'all, you know, or we would have beat y'all. No, you went unblemished, and that's just a mark that's hard to do in any modern day football.
The Bamberg folks told us the last one out locked the door. The whole town was here. They'll all go back and open it with joy because it'll come with an undefeated 2025 Class A South Carolina State Championship. It's the Bamberg Ehrhardt Red Raiders closing the deal with an impressive 35-21 victory over Lamar here in Orangeburg, South Carolina. A perfect season for Bamberg Ehrhardt.
It's just remarkable. Hats off to the coaching staff, hats off to the administration, hats off to these players that work so hard to accomplish this one goal, to win the state championship, and to go unblemished. That's just something that's remarkable.
Yeah, you talk about the staff, and you know, so many. Coach Crosby, we talked about it. Coach Williams, Coach Wilson, Coach Fanning, Coach Carter, Coach Presley, Coach Hayes, Coach Charles, Coach Can, Coach Downing, Coach Holman, Coach Ott, Coach Rakestraw, Coach Timmons, all a part of this group from the middle school on up, preparing these young men for a championship moment. And now they've got something to build on moving forward because they have claimed the Class A state championship with a 35-21 victory. Let's hear from the head coach of the victorious Red Raiders, now standing by with Claire.
Thanks, guys. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations. 20 years you've spent with the Red Raiders. 1990 was the last state title, and to do it in undefeated fashion, what emotions does that bring to you?
Hey, first of all, I told him, this God's team, this is not my team. I told our team that when we started the season. This is not me, this is all God. But I'm going to tell you, this for all the teams of past, for Coach Crosby, my brother, Kevin Crosby, Robert Williams, that games that we came in, we lost. I learned a lot from them two guys, man. I want to say thank you for what they done for me, man, but it's big for our town, man. It's back for our town right here. Our town deserves this right here.
You talked to me about the senior leadership this week and how much it means to you to see them grow as young men over the last 4 years. What does this moment mean to them?
Hey, man, they grow. I mean, first of all, they started in the classroom. It started back in when my brother took the job over. But if you went in the hallway, we could win we could win on the field. So that's what these guys did. They brought it to the system. They brought it to grades. They brought it to trust in the process, and it pays off, man. It's a great team, man.
Our player of the game, Brian McMillan, you have another year of him playing on Fridays, but what did he show about his ability to play on Saturdays?
Hey, man, I'm happy on my team. I tell you that. I'm glad he's my quarterback. But the kid learned a lot, man. He grew up. He grew up as the season went, and we was going to put it in his hands and win this thing for him and bring it back to Bamberg.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
He gave the team to God. He gave the championship to the town, and he did, in fact, bring it back to Bamberg. 11 times they've been state runners-up. That talks about how effective they've been at getting here over the years. Now 3-time state champions and reigning state champions. They claim the 2025 Class A state championship. What an impressive contest for Bamberg Ehrhardt. Red Raiders will be field side for the trophy presentation when you return to Orangeburg. Class A title game in the books. It's Bamberg Ehrhardt, number 1 coming in, number 1 leaving in 2025. Class A state championship going to Bamberg. Bamberg Ehrhardt Red Raiders taking care of business 35-21 in the middle game of the first full day of our weekend of champions in the Palmetto State. We come back with some superlatives for you as you see what a tremendous season it was for Lamar and runner-up trophy to Coach Tyler Boyd and company, the upper state champions, putting quite a year together, bringing Lamar back here in his first season at the helm. Defense always a big part of a championship, and our defensive player of the game, going to go to Jason Humans. His work on more than one occasion important in this one. He becomes our Bojangles Bash defensive player of the game. Don't miss the Bojangles Bash. Find out all about it at bojanglesbash.com, one of the premier basketball events in the state, right around the corner. Again, that's bojanglesbash.com. And Jason Humans, our Bojangles Bash defensive player of the game. And we had to sing out one defensive play of the game. You know, you got offensive and defensive players on both sides, right? We're going to go Jalen McGraw's direction to that end as the defensive play of the game. There were so many to pick from, but it was one of his key efforts here that stands as our Columbia SC stop of the game.
I mean, it's just great. I mean, try to throw the ball to the screen. He tips the ball and then goes back and retrieves it and catches the interception. Just a great individual play.
That's our Columbia SC stop of the game, standing as our defensive play of the contest. Jalen McGraw, who had a rushing touchdown as well as that tremendous defensive play. Some of the highlight moments for him tonight. Some of the many state championship memories he and his comrades will take back to Bamberg. Bamberg Ehrhardt, the Red Raiders, getting ready for the trophy presentation. Let's listen in as Coach hands off the football and public address walks you through the moment the championship becomes official.
Accepting the state championship trophy on behalf of the team is Bamberg Ehrhardt head coach Corey Crosby. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Class 1A football state champion, Bamberg Ehrhardt Red Raiders. Congratulations, Bamberg Ehrhardt, on your first football state title since 1990.
For the first time since we kicked off the decade of 1990s, all the way back in 90, Bamberg Ehrhardt getting ready to celebrate a championship. They're celebrating it here right now in the Midlands, but as this group heads down the highway together, they will soon be celebrating in Bamberg, and they'll be doing so for a long time to come. They'll celebrate a perfect 14-0 campaign. Class A Region 4 representatives, the Red Raiders. They came into tonight #1 in the state, and they'll be that way until they lace them up to play football again next year. Nobody better than Bamberg Ehrhardt here in 2025. Well, a big thank you to all of our sponsors making tonight's broadcast possible. Our broadcast presented as always by A&I Fire and Water Restoration. We appreciate Foundation Solutions, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Stewart Law Offices, Doctors Implants, Palmetto Bath, Stanley Law Group, Adventure Children's Museum, Preferred Appliance, Palmetto Pride, Jim Hudson Automotive, Experience Columbia, the Bojangles Bash, Farm Bureau Insurance, and Ingalls Markets, all proud sponsors of the 2025 Weekend of Champions here in the Palmetto State. It's all for you. We appreciate you, the fans, joining us. For my broadcast partner, Toby Cates, for Claire down on the field, Jason Patterson with you here in the booth saying we'll be back in a moment. Remember, one more coming up tonight. You got Northwestern, Irmo, and the rematch. But Class A is settled. Bamberg Ehrhardt, a perfect 2025. And the Red Raiders stand tall in Class A for this season.
Just a path I'm taking.